beer directly to the kneecap.
Okay.
Hey, Jordan.
Don't want to waste any beer.
How's it going?
Good.
That
Just
is
got
what she said.
beer on my knee. It's good.
Yeah, that's where you want it, not in your mouth hole.
No.
No.
Should put the microphone up there so you get a little ASMR.
Whoever made that noise, that
was disturbing.
that was a better beer pouring noise than the beer pouring.
You had me fooled for like a half a second there. That was pretty good.
I have many talents. They are all useless.
So, another episode, season 2, episode 2 with our fancy. Or no,
Three.
this is 3.
Three.
Okay, sorry, it's episode 2 with our fancy new stuff. So we'll actually sound good.
It's like season 2.1, episode 2.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tonight we've got Z with us. We're going
Hello.
to talk about truck things probably for a while, I would imagine.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Why are we going to talk about trucks?
Because I have a truck.
Because you bought one.
I bought a
Gasp.
truck. Dun, dun, dun.
You bought another truck. If we're gonna call the Blazer a truck,
Is it
Yeah,
can we
volume
call the
two?
Blazer a truck?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
a
that's
truck.
fair.
It's a truck.
Mini truck.
We have actually had you on before, I'm pretty sure.
I'm fairly confident.
Maybe once before.
Because I feel like
Back at your house, back at Jordan's house. Yeah.
Because I feel like we talked about your dad and his trucks and building cars and
I think for a little bit, yeah, kind of vaguely. It wasn't anything specifically about me. I think there were multiple conversations happening at the same time, kind of a thing. But
That's kind of how it goes.
That's basically our MO. What are you drinking, Jordan?
Oh, this is Dragon's Milk by New Holland. I used to, back in the day, like probably 10 years ago, I tried this beer and I hated it. And now I really like it a lot, actually. I guess it kind of grew on me. But it's really good. It is a bourbon barrel-aged stout. Tastes what it tastes like. It's just a really dark, strong beer.
yeah,
pretty
no,
good.
I like that beer.
Yeah, it's good.
That sounds exactly like what I would imagine you'd like.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe I got a bad batch of it or something back in the day. I didn't care for it, but I think it's great.
We're starting another episode with another 11% beer.
You know, I was shocked listening to the last episode. I was shocked how not
Yeah.
slurry I was.
You're welcome.
Okay. Fair enough. You made me sound really like
You're
coherent,
welcome.
Pierce.
You didn't say it right, Pierce.
You're welcome.
There it is.
I'm drinking a Goose Island Beer Hug, which is a, let me find it again, double dry hopped tropical double India Pale Ale.
So is that effectively a quad then?
I
don't think that's how that works.
It's a 10%. It's good.
I
It's
think
also
it is-
huge.
I think it is double hopped, and also it is a double IPA, and I think those two things are separate. I don't know how.
Listen here. The can art is kind of amazing. What
Yeah,
is
that's
Pretty
that?
cool. It's a bear with
Made of hops?
Made of hops, yeah.
Oh, that's
like
pretty cool.
In the
like instead of fur.
yeah, instead of fur, it's like hop leaves,
Yeah.
petals,
Mhm.
whatever they are.
that is fantastic.
Petals?
I love that artwork.
And he's wearing awesome sunglasses.
What are they? Are they petals or are they leaves?
They're from a...
Buds,
Yeah.
nuggets.
What are you drinking, Z?
I am drinking 805 by Firestone Walker. I figured at some point we would be talking about trucks and where that my love for trucks came from, and that was the Central Coast of California. And so I figured I'd get a beer that is marketed specifically to the Central Coast of California, and you cannot get it outside of it unless you order it online.
What does the 805 denote? What is that?
That
a
is
thing?
the area code in, I always forget where they're actually at, Paso Robles. So it's like Central California, like north and south, also east and west. It's kind of out there near like Fresno. It's the desert.
That's so weird. Our area code here is 804.
Right.
Yeah.
And then 805 is in California.
Yeah.
I did know that actually, but for some reason I always thought that Firestone Walker was here in Virginia.
No, they are based in Paso Robles.
Interesting.
Actually, last time I went back home, we did a little bit of a brewery tour, which was kind of nice.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's a blonde ale, I believe it is. Doesn't actually say it on there; it just says ale. But I believe it's a blonde ale. It's only a 4.7, so I might have a few.
Cool.
What are you drinking, Corey?
I have whiskey again.
Man.
I know. You drink 1,000 and, you kind of get over it a little bit. Or
I mean, brag about it, why don't you?
I will. Do you want me to go get the shirt?
Nah, you're all right. We've all seen it. I've been to the party twice.
That's funny because I've only been to the party once. This is, what did I just pour? This is Woodford Reserve. It is their wheated variety.
What is a wheated whiskey?
That's a great question.
Okay.
I think it's similar to like conditioning a beer, or it's like finished with, you can finish it with like different grains, or it is a higher percentage of wheat in the distillate so it's not just all distilled from corn and other grains or whatever. It's like a higher percentage is wheat. So they have a wheat, a rye, and there's a third one, a wheat, a rye, and a corn. I can't remember. Anyways, it's good. It's good.
For being
Corn's bourbon, right?
Yeah.
So
Or barley.
barley, sorry,
Mostly barley.
Hey, no, that's barley.
For being the only person who's actually worked in a liquor store, I know alarmingly little about liquor.
Yeah, you should.
All you gotta do is just when someone hands you a bottle, you say, "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir."
That's basically all I did. They'd come in and be like, "Hey, do you know if you have this one?" I'd be like, "Nope." Did you check online?
So really, the reason that I poured this one is because it was in front and only had a single glass left in the bottle. So
Fair.
I mean, that's
Fair.
There's no deeper meaning.
Yeah, let's do some amendments. I owe an apology to the two Mitsubishi owners that listen to this podcast. There are apparently 3 generations of the VR4 Galant.
I am shooketh.
Yeah. And then also I said last time that the Volvo S60 convertible was the worst vehicle I've ever been in, but I actually meant the C70 convertible, like the late 90s.
That makes so much more sense. Yeah.
The S60s are pretty decent.
Yeah,
choices.
S60s are great. I guess the C was like a more budget-minded vehicle, and yeah, it was very harsh. It was very very uncomfortable.
I had a couple of corrections or whatever. I was correct that Weinstefaner is in fact the oldest continually operating brewery currently in existence. They have been around since 1040.
Yeah.
Which is bananas.
That's insane. I think,
and they have documents from that I guess abbey or whatever from as far back as the year 768 AD, where they were referencing. There's a reference in that document to them growing or cultivating a hop garden.
Interesting.
Bananas.
I could be wrong because I didn't do any research. I never disagreed that was the case, that they are the oldest.
I was guessing. I was pretty sure, but I double checked.
But I think what I meant in that episode was that the Trappist style of beer is supposedly one of the oldest styles of beer, because it's not like the guys at Weinstefaner could have been brewing Trappist beer. You know what I mean? It's not like it's dedicated to a certain brewery. I could be wrong. So
I also vaguely started browsing a little bit about Trappist beer as well to double check. Like, Trappist beer is very specific in that it's a very specific order of monks, and there are only 14 monasteries in the world that are of that order of
the
monks.
traps.
Yeah, of the traps. To brew Trappist beer, there are, according to Wikipedia, there are 6 in Belgium, 2 in the Netherlands, 1 in Austria, Italy, England, France, and Spain, and 1 in the United States.
I'm actually surprised that there's that many.
Yeah, I was too. I thought it was only like a couple, but it's
I would say
14.
like a handful.
Yeah, it's pretty old. Let me see here. 14 different monasteries that produce it.
isn't the people that make Golden Rock, von Stenberg or whatever, haven't they been around since like 1158 or something stupid like that too?
The brewery that makes Golden Rock is really hard to pronounce, and I'm not going to try. They are in Belgium, and they opened in 1784.
Oh, I thought it was much older than that. I mean, that's
still pretty
really
old.
But anyways. Is that the end of your amendment?
That was the end of my amendments.
Wonderful. I would love to show you a picture. I showed Pierce this picture earlier.
I'm afraid.
It's quality.
This.
It is of good nature.
This is what I saw this
Best
week
intentions.
on the road.
If you were to have to explain redneck engineering,
Oh, these are my favorite.
Describe for the listeners what you're looking at, Jordan.
Well, we're looking at what used to be a Penske truck with the... There's like a mid-90s Toyota pickup truck most of the way inside of it. with the rear wheels perched on like the loading dock in the back.
Yeah, the lift gate is absolutely deployed.
Yeah, and the door of the truck is closed onto the bed so that the whole cab of the pickup is inside the Penske truck with a good portion of the bed protruding.
Driving down 95.
That's amazing.
This picture can be viewed at the Beer and Backfire podcast Instagram account
Oh my goodness.
on the date of release of this episode.
So I don't like to make judgments, and you did say redneck ingenuity. I'm gonna have to go out on a limb.
Oh,
Here it comes.
That's my people.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's some border brothers right there.
I just
Hey
want to
Holmes,
know.
I don't have money for a tow truck, but my cousin, he's got a Penske truck, and we can make this happen.
If
That's what that
if you
is.
look,
They probably have a Honda Civic hatchback in front of that thing in there.
they have secured this truck by wrapping a ratchet strap around the rear axle and like securing it down to the platform.
Is that what that
yeah.
is?
Hey, they were at least nice enough to like hang these like high vis like dangly things
Yeah.
off the back of it.
Yeah.
There was a car, like some random sedan, very obviously knew these people and was following them very closely. When I took this picture, they were getting off this exit ramp.
I'm gonna guess that this was south of the river.
No, this is Bowling Green.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
New Jersey?
No. Virginia. It's exit,
Like north
exit,
of
exit 104.
Ashland.
Okay.
Exit 104.
Okay.
Oh,
Between
okay.
here and King's Dominion. Or actually north of King's Dominion.
Slightly north of King's Dominion.
Cool.
Yeah, all right. Sometimes I forget that not everybody knows
I mean-
all of the exit numbers for all of the interesting things on all of the highways in this
No.
state.
I know 64 better than any of you here. I guarantee it.
That's
but
probably true.
Between here and Charlottesville?
between here and
Yeah, for
Charlottesville.
sure.
I'll bet you $3,000.
So that's what I saw that was interesting on the road this week.
So last weekend I was in Chicago.
Chicago.
We were driving, I don't know what interstate we were on, but we were going between people's houses on the interstate in the general Chicago area. And we were passed on the highway by a convoy weaving through traffic led by a McLaren of some form, followed by at least 4 Porsches, the lowest trim of which was a GT3. There were like
All right.
2 or 3 GT3s and a GT3 RS, and I'm pretty sure a GT2 was in there as well.
How do you know?
Because I looked at the back of them.
Oh.
It does say in giant
It
letters.
does
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
The GT2 has a very distinctive rear
It's
wing
big.
as well.
Big wang.
Big. Then there was 2 Ferraris in there one that I could not identify. They're one of the newer Ferraris. And there was also a Lamborghini. What's the the Huracan? It was like the Spider version, like
The convertible.
It wasn't just the convertible. There's like a special, like the Performante, I think.
Yeah.
And then there was like a Camaro 1LE behind all those. And I was just like, well,
The
Neat.
pace car.
yeah. We're just like driving down the road in our minivan. It's like, we're like, oh my good grief.
And you weren't in Miami?
No,
Yeah.
Chicago.
I mean,
Oh, and then we get off the exit right after that happens, and we get passed by a Porsche Taycan.
the SUV?
No, the $200,000 electric one.
Oh.
I've never seen one of those in person.
I bet you have, and you just didn't really notice.
Really?
Yeah, they look. At first, you think it's a Panamera, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
They're sweet.
I'm thinking of what was the
Cayenne and Macan are the SUVs.
what was the Porsche that they had in the last episode of Top Gear when they did the Holy Trinity?
The 918.
Yeah.
Yeah, 918 Spider.
Yeah, that was the fancy electric.
It's a
one,
it's
right?
a hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not what you're talking
No,
about.
this is an all electric vehicle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 4-door like the Panamera, right?
I believe so. They also
Or
now
it's-
make it
or
in
it's
a
at least-
sport wagon, which
It's
is
at least
cool.
big like the Panamera.
Yeah, they have a Taycan wagon that you hit a button and it lifts it up by like 2 inches for overlanding purposes, allegedly. Because anyone's gonna take that off road.
Yeah, on their super sports summer tires. On my way here tonight, I saw the same McLaren that I talked about in the last episode.
Oh, really?
And so I verified it on the Google. It's not a P1, which is what I said it was last time. It's the 570S.
Oh, that's an older one, isn't it?
No, it's a current model.
It's a
Is it
current model,
current-ish?
and it's like a much more entry level McLaren.
Yeah.
It's still like $300,000.
Okay, yeah, I mean entry level McLaren, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was on the south side of 95 this time, so thing gets around, I guess, which is cool. I respect that.
Drive your car.
Yeah, totally. Yep.
My favorite car that I've seen at Cars and Coffee in a long time was a guy that would show up in it was an air-cooled 911 of some vintage. It was lowered a little bit on nice wide BBS wheels, not like blingy ones, but like well-worn BBSs on very aggressive summer tires, and the paint was chipped and faded, and it's like, this dude's basically driving a track car every day, and it was the best.
That's awesome.
I will never forget the one time I was there, and there was a brand new. At the time, it was like the brand new Ford GT, the one with the V6. And I mean, the dude had like socks in the passenger footwell, like used socks, and like all of his mail for the week was in the passenger seat and everything. That's
I love it.
perfect use of a car.
I love it.
Do you remember back right after we got out of high school-ish time, we saw the same Countach around town a bunch, and we
Yep.
we went up to it one time, we saw it parked, and it was like full of like McDonald's,
Yeah.
discarded McDonald's,
Beautiful.
and Dairy Queen wrappers and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like since then I've heard about that car because apparently it used to be seen often at the McDonald's on Parham.
Yeah, I saw it there at least twice.
Yeah.
that I can remember.
Yeah.
And
I've heard
Dairy Queen on Patterson.
I've heard of other people finding it there, and apparently that guy like actually does really like that car and like take care of it. He has a climate controlled garage that it's parked in, which is sweet. But like it's hilarious to walk up to cars like that and just find them full of like items that would be in my RAV4.
I feel like cars like, especially of that vintage, where they're still, I mean, you could get them fuel injected and stuff, so you wouldn't have to deal with necessarily with carburetor problems. But as long as you drive them, they seem to last pretty well.
Yeah.
See, I kind of like seeing that. Like, obviously, there's a level where it's like too much, but
Neglect.
right, exactly. But I like seeing a car that somebody actually uses,
Yeah.
and like you'll see, it looks quote unquote lived in. You know what I mean? It's
100%.
It's not a show car. They don't wash it every time they go to Cars and Coffee
Yeah.
or whatever. It's something that they'll drive, not even daily, but regularly, and you might have a little bit of trash or whatever in there. I kind of like seeing that because at least the car's not being just left alone, or it's like a trophy that they finally got.
With like 10,000 miles on it or whatever. Do you remember that M12 Noble that used to?
I was
Yeah.
about to bring that up.
That thing
Yeah.
was so busted, dude. But
He
it was
still brings it out.
really.
He still brings it out every now and then.
That thing was so busted, just driving around Parham and Patterson all the time. But yeah, I mean, I have mad respect for the dude that owns that car.
He's super nice too. He'll talk to you whenever you walk up and look at the car. He's happy to talk about it.
Nice.
Very cool.
I also saw a JZ880 on Midlothian Turnpike the other day with like 22-inch chromies on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
So that was a thing.
If you're gonna do that, do it to at least do it to like an SC300 or something.
I mean, he paid the money for the car. He could do whatever the crap he wants
I
to with it.
guess.
I don't want to take up too much time because I do want to get to trucks
Yeah.
because I want to talk about trucks. But Steve brought his ND over
Yes.
and we went for a ride.
That was a thing.
Yeah.
I've heard about it. Do you know that he did that without even hearing that you wanted that to be done?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't recall if the episode was even out yet at that point.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
good,
just
good.
him being Steve,
Awesome.
like
Good,
a gentleman.
pro.
good on
Yep.
you, Steve. We love you. I love you.
Also, shout out to Erica because she's like by far our most faithful listener.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you knew that was going to be the report, obviously, but like, God bless. It's so good. It really is.
Now he's got aftermarket sway bars, and I think he had the aftermarket calipers on it too, right?
I don't think he did at the time.
No, he did.
Did he?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
He had sway bars because he did that like
Immediately.
immediate, like within hours or something like that. So it had sway bars and it had
Will Woods.
the big brake kit. So fine, sure.
I mean, I just
but,
want to preface, preface
Yeah.
that.
still has a lot of body roll for that. You know, for
It's a club, right? So it's got the factory Bilsteins.
yes.
Because he just put
Swift Springs.
Swift springs on it, but I forget the name of the brand. It's not Flying Miata, but he got lowering springs that are apparently a better match for the valving in the factory Bilsteins.
Yeah,
He says it's amazing.
Yeah, he was telling me about that. So one of the things that even with the sway bars, the car tends to understeer, which actually you kind of prefer a little bit in that platform. When it starts to, or when you're turning in pretty aggressively, you can kind of feel the front like get jittery, and that's apparently why that happens. So with these new springs or whatever, it's supposed to return it to much more neutral. But it's apparently because when I think they put, Steve's going to correct me because I'm going to be wrong, but I think what happened is they put the Bilsteins on, uprated the rear springs and not the front springs or something like that. So it's like it's something weird where like they changed the spring rate on one set but not on the other, or not as much on the other, or something like that. So it ended up kind of unbalancing it a little bit. But anyways, it's phenomenal. It's comfortable. It has modern amenities, but it still feels crazy light and nimble. The steering is
it's a modern
unbelievable.
interior, but very simple.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Did you try to put your toolkit in the trunk?
I did not. No, that was.
Did you even look?
No, he was like driving away, and I was like, I didn't even open the trunk. Dang it! I will eventually, but yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. The steering is unreal in comparison to anything else modern that I've driven.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
They've really figured out electric power steering now, where you still get feedback from it. It's really nice. Have you seen? So it's a white ND, but he just wrapped it with a matte finish wrap.
No.
It's paint. It's matte paint protection film.
Where are you getting all of this information? Because
His Instagram.
His Instagram, and also I saw it on Friday.
oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
Oh, did you? Oh,
We
yeah.
went to
At
Starbucks.
Am I not following Steve on Instagram?
apparently.
Hang on. Don't hang on. Continue talking while I look at my phone.
He posts like once a week, and it'll be like 15 pictures and 3 paragraphs of information of like everything that he's done.
I
So
enjoy reading his
If you,
posts.
I mean, I do too. I really do too. But like, it's not. He doesn't like post every day about things that he did that day. He just posts once a week about everything he did that week.
It looks a lot better in person than it does in pictures. It's very cool looking. He is I am understeer on Instagram.
Yeah, I got him. Apparently, I was not following him on Instagram.
Oh,
I
for
feel
shame.
bad about that.
That's getting deleted.
I was greeted by the lovely...
We all love Steve. Steve is the best.
Of course, we were all following Steve on Instagram. What are you talking about?
He definitely didn't just get a notification of me following him. I was greeted by the blue bar of shame that told me to follow him back because he was following me and I was not following him. Anyways.
What'd you see?
Oh, I was gonna say today it was completely bone stock, but it made me think of you, Pierce. I went and got the holy chicken, the Chick-fil-A for lunch, and parked with the employee vehicles was a 92X.
Sorry.
Wow.
The Subaru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
was-
trying to remember the last time I saw one of those.
It was champagne in color.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks real nice. It was actually really clean for being what appeared to be bone stock, and I was really excited. And it had a bunch of stickers all over it that made me think it was a high school kid. And I was like, "Please get into cars! Please get into
Yeah.
cars!"
I mean, that's a good starter car because I mean that is like the perfect hipster car, honestly, because it's a Saab, which the hipsters freaking love.
Yeah.
And it's like
It's a Subaru.
Yeah, which the hipsters also love. Like, so it's like an underground vape machine. You know, like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
It's like the
it's
best
a more
of all of
it's
the
a more
hipster
underground Forester.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a better looking.
Oh,
car
way
Oh
better,
yeah,
than the
way
yeah,
better
Impreza.
for
looking.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. I had that big surprise reaction because you reminded me of a vehicle that I spotted at the Holy Chicken last week. It was I came out of the drive-through, and taking up 6 parking spots was a truck towing a Viper ACR.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Did you all see the article that came out on Road and Track? I think it was last week, where they determined that. So one of the editors of Road, I think it was Road and Track. It might be Motor Trend. One of the editors was trailering his ACR Viper behind his Jeep Grand Cherokee, and he actually got like 3 miles per gallon better fuel mileage towing the car because it's so aerodynamic that it actually cut the spoiled wind off the back
Off
of
the back
Jeep.
of the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I saw a different post. It wasn't from a magazine. I think it was one of the like Track Midwest guys, like the Grid Life guys. They had to pull they were towing with an open trailer, and they had to pull the car farther forward on the trailer because the wing was making so much downforce it was shifting the weight balance of the trailer at speed.
Wow.
I'm surprised that they did not make that wing removable for that reason.
Well, they probably
probably
assumed that
is.
it'll be
Just
trailered and closed.
Oh, that's fair, I suppose.
It probably is relatively it's probably a bunch of like a couple Allen bolts or
Yeah,
something
you're probably
to take
right.
off.
Hey, when did you buy your truck?
Bought it in February.
What did you have before you bought your
Oh,
truck?
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
lead up to that a
Yeah.
little bit.
Which one?
Yeah. Well, so
You could start with the Stratus.
the
you
Stratus.
could.
Oh, wow, we're going way back.
You could.
Oh my god.
I was just gonna say, like, let's talk about the other vehicles that are in the driveway currently.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine. No,
okay.
start with the Kia. Start with the Kia.
All right. So my daily for the past, I don't know, millennia was a 2007 Kia Optima. And I always said I hated the car. It just wasn't fun. It was a daily driver. But even to December or January of 2021, I was still getting roughly between 30 and 32 miles to the gallon.
In a V6.
In a V6.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Amazing.
And did you get that car for free or not a lot of money, or it was your mom's? And
Yeah. So what happened was my mom's car went down for a little while, and my grandfather, her father, let her borrow that car for a couple of months while her car was in the shop. So her car gets out of the shop. We're getting ready to actually drive it up to Pennsylvania to give it back to my grandparents. And my then daily, an 04 Dodge Stratus blew up on the highway. Like engine just kaput. All right. So my grandfather's like, hey, it's already down there. Just keep using it. We'll figure something out. So he calls me a couple weeks later, says, hey, these are the car payments. If you just pay on it, I'll just let you keep it. And I was like, all right, great. So I make 2 car payments. And he goes, so I went down to the bank and I just paid the car off. And I was like, all right, baller. And so he was like, it's yours, be good to it, treat her well, whatever. And so at that point, I think it was 2010 maybe.
What does he say? I know there's no way you're paying for what's under the hood of that car. Selling tune-ups and tuna sandwiches or whatever it is.
So yeah, I think it was about 2010. Thing had quite a few thousand miles on it already. Maybe it was only 3 years old, but my mom drove it like I drove it, so it probably had between 7,000 and 10,000 miles on it or whatever. Which isn't a lot, but when you're only driving to and from work, for her that was a lot. So when I got the car, say it was 10,000 miles, fast forward 10 years.
You had it since 10,000 miles?
Yeah, that's
You put all of the miles on that car?
Mostly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, mostly. So say 10 years I own that car, between trips to and from Pennsylvania, a lot of road time for my previous job, going to and from hospitals in Northern Virginia and whatnot, and just random vacations. That thing died in January of 2021 at 336,000 miles.
2020.
Or sorry, January 2021.
It was this
Really?
year.
Yeah, it was this year.
It was only this year?
Yeah, that car died, yeah.
and
And it's not really dead.
It needs a transmission,
Yeah.
which is impossible to find.
Are they?
For that V6, it's only on that engine, and they weren't super common.
Yeah, so the 4-cylinder and the V6 have different transmissions, and the
Right.
only ones that we could find online were for the 4-cylinder. I found one online for a V6, and then once we looked into it, we realized the company was a scam. So
Oh, okay.
So what did you do when that transmission?
300,000
Yeah,
miles. That's
330.
amazing.
That's incredible.
I think it's 336.
That's
For a Hyundai, yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good, considering that you probably spent zero money on maintenance.
You
Yeah,
maintained
no, I
it
mean,
pretty good.
I maintained it like general maintenance. Yes.
Okay.
There wasn't a whole lot. We did, we redid the head gasket once.
Okay.
And,
They like to
a couple
puke,
other things.
they like to puke valve cover gaskets. I know that.
just
Which
oil.
but I mean, it tends to take out the alternators and it makes a whole mess of the front side of the engine. So
Yeah, I replaced the alternator like 2, maybe 3 times on that thing.
Yeah.
But part of general maintenance on it. But I mean, that thing, I always said I was going to drive it into the ground. I didn't realize I was literally going to drive it into the ground. And again, technically, if I found a transmission for it, I'd still drive the thing because of how much gas mileage I got out of that thing. But, it's not really worth it at this point with the other 2 vehicles.
yeah,
What are the other 2 vehicles, Z?
So my other one, I have a 98 Blazer that I got from my mom's husband. He was getting rid of it. He had no use for it. It was kind of parked there forever. And when they got married, because he also had I forget which year, but it was a 370Z.
Oh,
Sorry, no, 350Z. My bad. It's 350Z. when they got married, they didn't have all the room for all those cars in the driveway. So,
Heard.
so I was like, hey man, I was like, what are you trying to get for it? He's like, well, I don't know. And look it up. Tell me what it's worth. So I looked it up, and the thing it was a 98. I think this was about 5 years ago. And it had 75,000 miles on it. And I was like, okay. So I looked it up, and I told him, I think the KBB on it was like 2,500 or 2,200, something like that. And he was like, all right, well, if you want to just give me like, a couple $100 every time you get paid until you pay it off, we'll go from there. And I was like, cool, And I think I paid him a total of $500 for the thing. And he was like, it's fine. And I was like, all right, sweet.
To give some backstory, you're a Chevy fan in general from your dad, and
yeah, when it comes to American-made vehicles, it's Chevy all day.
Yeah,
which obviously they go through I go through my love and hate with those, because I hate to say it, sometimes Ford's better, especially when it comes to pickup trucks. But I'm sometimes, but I love Chevys through and through.
Yeah.
I'll never own a Ford. My dad, through all the love and hate, he'd come back to kill me. Kind of a thing. So. But yeah, so I've got that. It's great. It's got a few little things that I need to, do to it. Probably going to sell it at this point because I don't drive it as much as I should.
Does it run now?
It does run.
Oh.
Yeah. Couple little things like there's some rust on it that I want to get fixed. The driver's side rocker panel, and then the when you open up the rear driver's side door, like the outside of the wheel well.
The wheel arch.
Yeah, there's a hole in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I can get that. And then body mounts are pretty much kind of rusted out.
Sorry, that was some Falcon Smash that needed to be opened.
Oh, word. You got another one of those?
No.
Nice.
no.
So the last I knew about the Blazer was that it had the fuel injector issue or something. It wasn't running.
It didn't run for a while. I parked it. So when I went off to Virginia Beach, I parked it here, and it just sat forever, and things kind of compounded on it just by sitting. So I ended up getting that all fixed. The only thing mechanically that I need to change or that I need to get fixed on it would be the fuel pressure regulator.
Yeah.
Sometimes the gauge doesn't work, but other than that,
so the fuel. All right. So not the fuel
level
pressure
sender.
regulator, but the fuel level sender.
Sender, yes, thank you. And then other than that, the fuel fill neck, there's a little bit of a hole in there. So if I go 1 gallon, like if I stop like a gallon before the tank is completely full, I'm good. If I fill it all the way up for like the first mile, there's a trail of gasoline. So I hope nobody's smoking behind me. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's great. I always wanted to turn it into like a little overlander camp vehicle, but at this point I just haven't touched it in so long that I should probably send it off to a good home.
Now's a good time to do that. People are really into that.
Well, or now is a good time to sell it because
That's what I mean. Now's a great time to sell it. Somebody will buy it for that.
But the used car market in general now is,
Yep.
I mean, just asinine. It's overblown by, at least 200%.
The 4-wheel drive works on it, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Everything else, I mean,
Yeah. Wait till they forecast the first snow this year.
Oh yeah.
And you'll be able to get $10,000 for that car.
Close to it. You'd probably sell it for a solid $6,500 at least. The interior's in like really nice shape.
Yeah, it's got the standard driver's side like crack in the seats because they're leather, but other than that,
Does the AC work?
no. But I have the AC pump or the compressor. Yeah. So, it's literally.
Well,
sitting in the back
come
of it.
wintertime, that won't matter.
Right. Yeah. And the heat is hot.
Yeah,
like
there you
it reminds me of Corey's old Miata. Like,
Oh my God.
you turn it on and your feet start sweating immediately, and you're like, I'm in hell. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it's like being in an RX-7.
I was gonna say I wasn't gonna brag.
so hot.
I get the foot sweats like without the heat on. Just saying.
Oh, me.
So,
Yeah, you do it in the Miata too in the driver's
Really?
side.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
nice.
That footwell gets hot.
I remember the second year we did the fall cruise. I think I rode with you and Jessica because I remember that was.
I don't remember that.
Was
but
it? Was it? Yeah, I think so.
I'm
pretty sure. I know I rode in it with you on a cruise.
Yeah.
At least for a portion of it, because I remember the first one I went with Jordan.
I've had multiple accounts of feedback from passengers who have melted their shoes on the floor of my car. The exhaust manifold particularly on the turbocharged cars, the S4 would cook the ECUs because the ECU is bolted to the firewall.
Like a Miata, it's bolted up by the passenger footwell.
Yeah, it's bolted under the passenger foot razor.
Yeah.
And that also happens to be where the turbocharger and like the exhaust manifold lives on the American market cars.
Yep.
So they didn't think that through.
No.
Yeah. Pete.
Turns out rotaries are hot.
Oh, it's pissing.
I got you.
I was gonna say I was so disappointed. That was a great
That was
sound.
such a good
it was
pour.
so good.
You got a towel?
No, I need one.
You're welcome.
Oh, look. It's a Firestone.
Oh, hey!
Mind Haze IPA.
Adam,
Sir.
would you tell me about your truck?
So I have
The real truck.
the real truck.
Yep.
Yeah. So
The reason we're here.
After the Kia blew up, I drove the Blazer around for a little while and was looking online trying to find a new vehicle. And I was looking for another like sedan or something. I was actually looking at a lot of Subarus. Actually, possibly like a Forester or something that had some decent mileage or like gas mileage on it. Just something that I could, because I wasn't planning on buying a pickup. I was planning on, and I treated my Kia like a truck sometimes. So I needed something that I could use for multiple purposes. And then I was like, oh, if I get this, I can get rid of the Blazer and then I can use this to go car camping at, the racetrack or whatever. And was finding a few things here and there, but most of them were like CarMax and stuff like that. I, had heard some good things and bad things about just going through the whole process with them, and just randomly looked up and I was like, I wonder what McGeorge has, because I was like, I know they always have a ton of vehicles on their lot.
Yeah.
And went on their website and I found this beautiful 2008 Tacoma pre-runner TRD off-road package, the whole 9 yards. Pretty much the Tacoma I would have picked if I had the option, because I've always loved Tacomas growing up. My grandfather had a few of them. If I would have stayed in California, one of those was going to be my first car at 16. But we ended up moving out here, and stories changed. So yeah, I've always loved the second gen Tacomas. Didn't think that was kind of feasible at the time, but I found one for a really good deal considering what it was.
Yeah, it should be noted that where we are in Richmond, Virginia, Tacomas don't depreciate to any extent.
That's kind of a standard thing. Like the Tacoma is one of the best as far as retaining value over time vehicles. They just depreciate not at all. It's like that and Subaru STIs. They just don't depreciate.
Well, I feel like in a market like Southern California, where maybe there are a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they're easier to come by at any rate.
They
But
don't
around
rust
here,
away.
well, yeah. But around here, maybe the rust plays into that. But around here in Richmond, they are hen's teeth valuable. Gold bullion, basically.
Like there are people right now selling. I saw a guy who actually sold on the, I think it was the RVA Toyota Trucks page. He sold a 2-year-old TRD Pro Tacoma for like $65,000.
Yep. I saw that as well.
For a
insane.
$40,000 truck.
Yeah, 45, 50,
Wow.
but $65,000
Yeah.
for a used
Yeah.
Tacoma.
Yeah.
What is happening?
I don't know. People are paying it, man. There's
Yeah, I mean, the market right now,
shortages.
as I said again, is crazy.
Yeah.
But what you did, basically, what you've accomplished, is remarkable.
Right, and it was right before the used car market craziness.
Oh,
too.
smart.
And so going back, I've always loved Tacomas because I grew up on the West Coast. I grew up in Central California where I watched my buddies' dads with their Tacomas, and they would turn them into pre-runners. Essentially, they turned them. We always went to the dunes out in Pismo. We went out to the desert. We'd go down to Baja, and we'd make a weekend of it. And so that was when my first love of Tacomas came around with the first gens. And then as I got older, I loved the second gens, and then the third gens are great, but for some reason I just love the body style of the second gen. Plus, mechanically, I feel like they're a bit better.
They're much more solid than the third. The third gens are not. They're coasting on the reputation that the second gen built for reliability. They are not as good.
I mean, I think they're as good, but they're certainly more complicated. They're more difficult to work on.
the rear-wheel drive direct injected 2GR has more problems than most of the other engines in Toyota.
Wasn't
stable
that
right now.
isolated to just the Mexican-built ones, though? No offense.
No, it was not.
It wasn't.
It's not as solid of a motor as that. Old and slow, but that 4-liter, it endures.
Does the 1GR, is that motor is reliable in other vehicles though? I feel like
the 1GR is the 4-liter that's in my 4Runner and his Tacoma.
Oh,
There is a 2GR is the 3.5 that's in the Camry.
and the Highlander and everything else.
They
The
turn it
Sienna.
around and made it direct injection. And I think it's Miller cycle as well. Like it can do Miller cycle like the old
Really?
Mazda Millennia did.
No, it can.
Yeah,
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
What?
It
Well, okay. So, fun fact: Steve
Kilman?
Kilman.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
We love you, Steve. We promise.
You
should
my
cut
God.
Steve. We can't do it twice. in one episode.
Do you follow him on Instagram?
Absolutely, I do. With all 3 accounts, thank you very much.
Oh no.
Steve Kilman is swapping a 2GR into his MR2. That's
He is swapping a 3MZ with 1MZ heads into his MR2. It is not 2GR. The reason he didn't go 2GR is because it's like 3 times the cost to do the swap.
Are you sure?
Yes. Because he pulled, I'm pretty sure it's an Avalon block with Sienna heads and intake manifolds, I think. So it's like 3-liter block, 3.3 heads and intake manifold, or it's the other way around. Yeah, his MR2 is going to be dope. We're going to have him on the podcast at some point to talk about it.
Yes, we should do that. That was actually my thought while we were driving around, was after this episode or in a couple episodes or whatever, have him on, and then we like actually for real talk about it. Oh no.
Are you calling Steve?
My goodness.
Oh, man. Hold that microphone up.
Oh,
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
What are you up to?
Recording a podcast, no big deal. Hey, what's the V6 motor that you got for your MR2?
It's a 1MZ.
Damn it!
I fucking told you.
1MZ.
Didn't we talk?
An ECU.
I thought we stood outside your garage and we talked about the GR for a minute.
Oh, yeah, no, the 2GR is what I should have put in it. I just didn't.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Reasons for why.
I thought there was more to that sentence.
Okay.
No, I should have held out and put a 2GR in it, but it was drive-by-wire, and that scared me for a time, and I thought I would get something with a cable throttle.
I mean, that's
So
fair.
it's a 3MZ FE,
And-
aluminum block, 3.3 liter.
What 1MZ parts are on it, Steve?
The 1MZ, it's really just the upper intake manifold and plenum and stuff, so
Okay.
that I can run the cable throttle.
Got it. I thought it was like the heads or something, but I stand corrected.
No, it's 3MZ heads. It's 3MZ all the way through, essentially heads block, long block, and then just the 1MZ upper intake to run the cable throttle, and then 1MZ electronics and ECU again for the cable throttle, because no drive-by-wire.
Okay.
Well, thanks for
Yep.
calling me a liar.
Sorry to tell the truth. What you should say is that you just you were convinced it was the engine. I was putting the engine that I should have put in the car.
Well, that's obviously what I was thinking of, because I remember that like we were talking about the GR for a while when I went and saw it. So
Yeah, probably because it would have been a good option. I was afraid that like drive-by-wire support for right-hand drive chassis was not there.
Oh, I
that's
didn't
fair.
even think
And
about
so
that.
I thought, well, I already have throttle cable routed in this car already, and I can just sort out where that needs to go to run a cable throttle on a 3MZ. So that initially, and then I also thought hilariously that I was going to be on a budget with this car. Yeah, see, exactly. It's hilarious.
yeah.
So I was like, well, the MZ is cheaper, and parts for it are, the performance parts are cheaper, and they're older, and they're, And now I'm too far down the rabbit hole with having entirely rebuild this one and put like 30 hours into porting and polishing the cylinder heads that I'm not starting over with the 2GR as much as I should.
None of us blame you for that.
No.
Yep,
that's
what he
totally
said.
fair. All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right, enjoy your podcast.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Damn it.
thanks for being a trooper, Steve. Erica, we're real sorry we called Steve at 9:17 at night.
It's not even like adult time late. That's not even old people late. I'm not sorry.
All right.
Erica, I'm sorry we called Steve at 9:17 at night. I'm teasing.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds sleepy.
So yours is a 4th gen Tacoma.
Second.
No,
There's
it's the
only
second
there
gen.
are
There's
only
only 3.
There are only 3 generations of Tacoma.
Yeah.
We are currently on number 3. There are
Okay.
many facelifts, but we're only on
Oh,
the 3rd
okay.
gen.
I got you.
3rd gen started in 2015.
Okay, so
Yeah.
by 3rd gen, you mean like 2018 and up.
15 and up.
15.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand now.
What
I
was-
thought we were talking about the 3rd facelift in like 97,
Oh, no.
2000.
What are the years for the second gen?
Second gen is 2006 to 2005 to 2014.
Okay.
And then there's various phases in there. So there's like 05 to 2009 or 11, depending on what part you're looking at. Because then they do like this whole new facelift in 2012 as well. And then a lot of parts change on that. So, or depending on what you're looking at, it could be the same thing all the way up until 2021. So,
Your Tacoma is a 2-wheel drive variant.
yes, it's a pre-runner. So
Yeah.
it's rear-wheel drive
V6.
V6, but it's also got the TRD off-road package. So it's got the extra leaf in the back. I believe they're stiffer Bilsteins from the factory.
Yes.
And then different wheels.
It should also have the even better 4-pot front brakes.
Yes.
Because there were a couple different versions of the 4-piston front calipers.
Were those the ones that you wanted for your 4Runner? Or
No,
you-
they might be the same. I'm not sure. I have my 4th gen 4Runner. There are 2 different style of brake calipers. There's the small SR5 brake
Yeah, yeah.
calipers, and then the
That's what it was.
Sport and Limited got the larger
That's
one.
what
I
it was.
put the larger limited brakes on mine.
Gotcha.
It also has the electronic, or your Tacoma
Yeah.
also has the electronic locking rear differential. which
Correct.
is
Yeah, and that's part of
dope.
the TRD off-road package. So.
Burnouts all day, please.
So yeah, and I mean, I love the 2-wheel drive. And here in Virginia, our snow doesn't get that bad. But God forbid anything does happen, I lock the rear diff, and it'll get me out of most of what we get in this area. Obviously, I'm not going to go rock crawling around Moab or anything ridiculous like that, but here it'll do me just fine. So, and I don't have to worry about all the extra bits and bobs.
That's why I
And-
went for 2-wheel drive, because it's so much less to have to deal with. Because I know all I see on like the 4Runner groups is people complaining about front CVs,
Yep.
and I'm just like,
well,
what CV?
the thing about the Toyota 4-wheel drive system on the 4Runner and the Tacoma is that if you don't use it like once a month,
Yeah, they say at least
The
every
front-
once a month.
the front actuator seizes internally.
Oh,
and
the rear does too.
Oh, the rear does too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, you can't. It basically doesn't have 4-wheel drive. So your 4-wheel drive truck is basically a 2-wheel drive anyways.
Right.
Unless you use it regularly. So with the 5 miles per gallon or whatever it is that you're saving, you're probably better off anyways.
When we had the Tacoma for work, when that was like my work truck, I would occasionally just put it in 4 low and just let it like crawl up over something in a parking lot or whatever. Just like let it crawl up like a little hill or something like that. Very fun. And I did not know that. I did not know that if you don't use them regularly, that they just go bad.
It's the motor that physically moves the
Yeah.
the selector. It'll just gum up, and if you have to like let it move through its range every now and then, otherwise
Yeah,
they just stuck.
that's like kind of why I started doing that. It was like we never use this thing, just sees highway miles. We never use 4-wheel drive ever, so every now and again I just not once a month, every now 3 times a year probably I would do something like that. But
I think I've only like really wished I had 4-wheel drive twice, and both times were in Jack's driveway.
But yeah, so yeah, found it on their on McGeorge's website. Was like, wow, that's a little too good to be true. So I called up there. The lady that I talked to confirmed it, and I was like, all right, well, and this was like on a Saturday right before they closed, and I was like, all right, well, I'll be up there tomorrow. And then overnight we got like 14 inches of snow or something ridiculous. It was probably 4, but
That's may as well be 14. in
right
Richmond.
around here. And so I actually called them first thing in the morning. I was like, are you guys open? And the guy answered the phone and he's like, no, I am the GM. I'm the only one here. All of my employees called out. I was like, so I can't come take a look at this truck? And he's like, you can make an appointment for tomorrow. I was like, all right. So made an appointment. The lady called me first thing Monday morning and was like, hey, just so you know, you have this appointment, but if somebody comes in and wants it, first come, first serve. And I was like, no, I understand. I completely get it. Not a problem.
No.
So
No. No.
Hey,
That's a dick move.
Nah, dude. First one with the money gets it.
Nah, bro. But
cash talks,
but
bro. I get it. It doesn't bother me.
So-
I get it. I'm in sales. So yeah, I run up there after work. I actually leave work about an hour early, run up there, and she's still sitting there in the lot. And so I walk up and I ask for this specific lady because I made an appointment with her. She's like, yeah, you're in luck. Somebody was in here earlier and didn't qualify.
Was this at the used car lot?
Used car lot, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, can I take it for a test drive? And she's like, well, yeah, absolutely. So she pulls it up. It's nice and toasty for me. This is during COVID times, so she lets me take the test drive by myself. And I figured, what better time than the day after we have a ton of snow? The sun's already going down. It's getting a little slippery out there. So driving down Broad Street, jump on 64, and just floor the thing. And just to see what I could get out of that V6. No issues other than
the answer is some.
I got some. I got some out of there.
I was sitting here trying to recall, what was it like driving that Tacoma? Was it? It's not fast.
No.
What is it?
Lively.
It is.
It's some.
It is adequate.
It is some.
I fell in love with it right away. The only issue that I saw with it was, as soon as I got on the highway, the rear driver's side tire went completely flat. I was like, sweet. So, or no, sorry, it was as I got off of the highway, but I pulled in right there at a Wawa, filled up the air, and went back. And I told her, she was like, "How did you like it?" And I was like, "It was great. And, it was fine. It's a truck. I wasn't expecting it to be a sports car." But I told her about that, and so we went through the paperwork process. I already had my loan worked out with the bank and everything like that. And
You came prepared.
yeah, oh yeah, I went in knowing I was getting ready to buy something.
My man's comes correct.
Or I had been looking, obviously, for depends on which family member you ask.
Mild racism.
But yeah, I had known I was needing a vehicle, so I already got that all worked out. And luckily, this one came in under, even with all the extra fees and crap that goes onto it that I always forget to take into account. But whatever. But yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't walk away with it that day because they were like, "Oh, we're gonna take a look at that for you," and they ended up replacing the tire because there was something in it. So I was like, "Great!" But next day, right after work, drove home. I had my roommate Charles actually drive me up there. Charles drove me up there. I walked in, grabbed my keys, and walked out with my truck. So,
And it's an 09?
08.
08.
08. It had 106,000 miles on it, and I got it for 15.
That's not bad.
What?
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Technically,
Kind of
Man
hurt your
got a
feelings,
deal.
doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
So I got it for a really good deal. And most of it was because they had a lot of the information that looked like they had copy and pasted from another one, from like a third gen, because it said like backup camera and touchscreen. And I was like,
Yes.
this has none of that. Had the nice amber glowing, standard CD player, from 08.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
Mine is the same.
Yeah,
It's all
buddy.
orange in there.
Yeah. Luckily, mine isn't anymore.
It's so
Nice.
bad.
I talked to them and they were like, "Oh yeah, that was probably from this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Well, I'm sure that that factored into the price." And they're like, "I don't know about that," but I was like, "I think it did." And so we worked something out. so I got
think it did.
the truck for 15, and then they asked me, they're like, and I went in weighing, or I weighed my pros and cons. I wasn't about to get bamboozled or anything, but they were talking about, hey, we've got this warranty that we have, for this, and this. And at first I wasn't going to do it. And then they explained everything that went into it. And I was like, oh, okay. Actually, that makes logical sense. Like financially, this makes sense to me at this point.
On one of the most reliable vehicles ever constructed.
I know, but
Well, okay, but if it came from McGeorge, which is like largely a Toyota dealership.
It's only a Toyota dealership.
Well, except for the used car. All right, so I've been
Right.
wanting to say this whole time, like the McGeorge used lot is
It's
one of.
whatever.
What do you mean?
Like,
yeah.
they
Oh,
sell
yeah.
anything,
It's
yeah.
all of the vehicles, but it's one of the biggest in Richmond.
It's
used lots.
Besides like CarMax
yeah,
and
sure.
maybe Hyman Brothers, they have more vehicles than like say the Haley
I will say that their lot isn't physically huge, so their inventory isn't that big, but they turn over very quickly.
Right. There is always something there that is like the range. The price range is accommodating to everybody.
True.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was. I mean, when I was looking on their website, there were like sedans on there for like $5,000.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I think my dad got his Lexus there for under $6,000.
We looked at a Fit there for $4,000.
Yeah.
It was like the base model, but I mean, you know, for a Fit that goes for like $8,000 normally. You know, they have great deals.
Yeah.
So what was the warranty then?
So warranty, it was a 2-year extended warranty from Toyota. So on anything except for consumables, obviously. And then it was a 6-month, 6,000-mile warranty from McGeorge on the motor, the transmission, and it was one other thing.
Rear end.
Probably the rear
And
end.
yeah, it might have been the rear end or something. And it was like $2,500. So again, weighed my pros and cons. I had them give me the paperwork that I would have signed and read through the entire thing. Read through the whole thing. I was like $2,500. I was like, that's still within my loan. I was like, whatever. And
Just for that extra peace of mind, I guess.
yeah. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. You know, just like you said, peace of mind. That's why I went for it. I was like, this isn't gonna. Most of these things aren't gonna go out on, especially for this being 106,000 miles. But let's just do it anyways.
Considering how cheap the vehicle was,
Yeah.
that almost makes up the difference.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't
I get
feel
it.
like
I
I
get
was
it.
getting like I was like, oh, paying out the nose for something.
Yeah.
You know, it was still $17,500. So I go through all that. Next day, come back, pick up the truck. About a month and a half later, maybe 2 months later, I get a call from the finance guy. His name is Tom, but his name's definitely not Tom. He's got
Hello, this is Thomas from
no,
Toyota.
No, it's better than that.
Dude's got like the thickest Russian accent in the world. Like you've seen Drago in these movies and whatnot.
Hello,
You've never,
sir. My
Yeah.
name is Tom.
Exactly. No, straight up.
It's how you say?
You buy Tacoma?
So yeah, so the lady, I believe her name was Kathy, was who I worked with, and she walked me over there. She's like, "This is Tom. He's gonna take care of you." I was like, "Oh, hey Tom, nice to meet you." He's like, "So I'm here to help you get your vehicle," and I was like, "Oh, okay." Great guy. If he ever listens to the podcast, he's a fantastic guy. I will definitely go back and work at with McGeorge again as long as he's there. But he calls me back and he's like, "Hey, just so you know, we sold you this warranty on a vehicle that we shouldn't have sold you this warranty on." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And they're like, "Yeah, anything over 100,000 miles, we're not supposed to do that." It's like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "But we just put that money towards your loan. So if you go check on your loan right now." And I was like, okay, keep talking. And I'm like literally actively looking it up on the app while he's talking. And there's a payment for $2,500 paid towards the principal on the loan. And I was like, okay, thanks, bro.
Nice.
So he was like, I'm really sorry, you know. And I was like, no, it's okay. I understand. It makes sense. I'm not here to like.
Your Tacoma is our Tacoma.
Comrade.
So, but that was pretty dope. But yeah. So essentially a 2008 for $15,000. So it was gonna be $17,500. It was listed at 15 or we talked it down to 15 after I was like, you listed it as pretty much like a third gen. So I was gonna put that on top of it.
This is why you pay your online sales people a little bit better to pay attention.
Yes. Oh yeah. Once I went back, because I showed them the ad on my phone when we were there, and they're like, "Oh, that's not this truck." I was like,
"Sure ain't."
Trust me, it's not.
That's never worked in my favor. I just want to say, I went to look at a Pontiac Vibe one time that was listed with the Vibe GT specs, like power door locks, two ZZ, whatever.
Yeah.
I say power door locks are on the normal one, but the two
Not
ZZs
this one.
definitely ain't.
Not this one. Yeah, so we went to look at it and it had like the manual locks, manual windows, and just the automatic
Not
transmission.
2ZZ.
1ZZ engine. And I was like, hold up. You listed this for this price for the GT, and that's the car that I want. And they were like, well, we don't have a Vibe GT on the lot.
Nobody does.
And I was like, well, then I want this base model Pontiac Vibe that you have for half the cost of what you've listed it as, because you've listed it for a GT price.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it's not how it works.
Should be.
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. That is exactly how that works.
Yeah, well, it should be.
It does. It has 50 less horsepower.
You
it
rerun
has
those
2
numbers.
fewer gears and 1 fewer pedal.
No, you just work in sales for your entire life. I don't know.
I'm just an aggressive human being.
So what have you done to the truck since you brought it home?
Not as much as I wanted.
Because my garage is full of boxes.
Is it?
No, I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah, full of Miata boxes.
I was about to be real excited. I was like, "What did you do?"
No,
There are a couple of boxes.
One of those, the big box out in the garage, that is fender flares for the 4-door Blazer
Oh,
that no company makes anymore.
I did not know that actually.
So
Is that the big red
big
box?
jungle fender flare. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I would say major things that I've done to it, which aren't major at this point, but I just put in a new head unit because I was tired of looking at that glow and I wanted to be able to GPS my way to work without
have
staring at my
CarPlay?
phone. It does have CarPlay. So I just got the new Pioneer, it came out like last year or 2 years ago, but it's the AVH 4500 NEX.
I definitely know what those numbers
Yeah,
mean.
for sure.
Yeah.
Does it have
So-
a physical volume knob?
It has the buttons, volume buttons, but it is wireless CarPlay.
It's better.
Oh.
It's better than literally any Toyota knob ever.
It's true.
The factory. Okay,
Holy
Corey and I are in
cow.
strong agreement on this. Even with my Toyota
Yeah.
fanboy status,
Yeah.
Toyota does not know how to make a volume knob rheostat to save their life.
I agree with you.
Oh, yes,
but you
100%.
can learn to turn that shit slowly.
You can.
No,
A better extent than you can touch a screen.
That was the other thing with mine.
Okay,
And I have
I
to
will
say-
take it over a touchscreen.
Yeah.
But in Shannon's pre-runner, you literally can't turn the knob slowly enough. You have to use the buttons on the
steering
steering
wheel.
wheel.
Oh, really?
Or
Well, that sounds like a problem. I mean, that sounds like something that needs to be fixed.
yeah, because they can't make a potentiometer.
No.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
The one on my Forerunner is significantly better than the one on my Matrix, but the one on my Matrix was like borderline unusable.
I kind of actually like the way that you can just like slap your hand across the volume knob and spin it to 2.
Not even, dude. Like
Decibels
it's hard.
louder.
It's physically difficult to turn. Like there's a lot of resistance, but you turn it like 4 degrees and it goes up like 87% volume for no reason.
in Shannon's, we call it the RNG knob. It's just like random. It doesn't matter. RNG stands for random number generator.
You're right.
by the way.
Right.
Oh wow, okay. We have a non-weeb over here.
Because it's a digital volume, like
Yeah.
it gives you an actual number thing, but as you turn it, it'll be like 12, 25, 14, 18, 17. It's like turning it in one direction, it goes up and down. So I'm
Yeah.
saying you physically cannot use the knob. You have to
The
use
one in my
button.
Forerunner does not do that. for the
Nissan has a current problem with their $3,500 Altima head units where they do the same thing. You turn the knob like one tick and it'll go up 5 and then the next tick will come down 2 and then you turn it one more tick and it goes up 10, et cetera, et cetera.
You have to learn the pattern.
Well, it's not even a
This
pattern,
is,
really.
This
It's
is
just, it's an
technology
RNG.
that's been around since the mid 1800s.
But-
How can they not figure this out?
Well, all it is dirt in the contacts,
Sure.
the brushes
Sure.
in the switch.
Yeah.
So all you
no
got to do is
excuses.
well, we were replacing the radios for a long time, but it turns out they came out with a bulletin where they were just like, just spray some air in there.
But it should be sealed. That's what I'm saying.
Shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, they've got a little felt ring that goes over. I know.
Stares in discontent. Like,
So this is not related to radio rheostats. I'm sorry to say. My brother-in-law,
my hopes and dreams.
my brother-in-law lives in Tucson, Arizona, and he recently bought a first-gen Rav4.
Sandra's
Sandra's
brother, not Nikki's husband.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sandra's brother just bought a first-gen Rav4.
Oh.
And
really?
he just sent me he's going on a road trip in it. He just sent me a bunch of pictures of it in the desert, and it is so dope. I'm so happy for him. It's such a great vehicle for what he's doing with it. It's great. It's like pictures of him parked in the desert next to giant rock formations.
That's the. Oh, I don't. I was gonna say that's the famous one, but there's a lot of those.
I'm so stoked about it.
That's awesome. Is he driving it here?
No.
So Z,
Yes, sir.
What else have you done to your Tacoma besides the head unit?
Yeah, so nothing too crazy. And just to go back to the tangent that we had, that is one of the reasons why I finally bit the bullet is because I couldn't change the volume, and I don't have steering wheel controls on mine. So, got that. Everything else is kind of minor. I replaced a lot of broken tabs here and there. I did the gas hood struts because I'm vertically challenged, and
that hood is heavy.
It's heavy and it's tall when you're standing in front of it, especially in this driveway because where you park is kind of elevated up from the walkway. So if I was standing in front of the vehicle, I would be standing on the walkway. So there's an extra couple of inches that I would need there, and the gas hood struts help with that. I've got bed stiffeners in the back, which are a lot of guys with the Tacomas recommend, not just for going off-road, just for daily driving, because the bed is composite. It's like a fiberglass bed, essentially, all one piece. So the longer you drive the truck, even during day-to-day driving, the bed tends to twist on you. So
so what is a bed stiffener?
It's essentially just giant L brackets that are made specifically for the truck, and they go up the side, like towards the tailgate, but on the bed itself still. It goes from the top of the bed rail all the way down to the bottom, and then connects with the two factory bed bolts, and then it keeps everything square for you. So I've got that, and then I got a couple other things that I need to do to it. I've got the backup camera for the new head unit. I do have a bit of a horn issue, so instead of just replacing it with factories, I got some Hellas.
Hell yeah!
That I'm gonna put up front. I'm gonna center them because I'm on a waiting list from a guy on Tacoma World, which is like the go-to forum for the Tacomas. Guy makes custom Satoshi grills specifically for the second and third gens, but they're not like the ones that that most guys would look at from the first gens. I don't know. You gave me a look.
Okay. Well, I don't. You said Satoshi grill, like I'm supposed to know what that means.
Oh, okay. So it's the wire mesh grill that you cut out the center supports, or not the supports, but the center grill, and you've got like a nice clean wire mesh. The first gen guys would do it for like actual airflow and stuff like that when they had like their lowered.
So it's just like the middle brackets and stuff.
Yeah, all the plastic is cut out.
Okay.
And then they put in like a wire, like usually it's like a wire mesh. This guy does a little bit what he calls like an elevated version. It's like he has like, I forget what it's like, M1 pattern. It's steel. It's like a piece of
stamped steel.
Yeah, and it's got like everything's perfectly spaced out, and you can pick different versions and different. So he does the middle and then the two little triangles on the grill, and then he'll also, the thing that I hate about this truck is that it's a chrome grill, and he'll color match any Tacoma color. So
this is also very common on 4Runners.
Yeah, it's the whole same thing. So he does them. I think I know he does it for Tundras, and he might actually do it on 4Runners as well.
Probably Sequoias too.
But yeah, I've got that. So once I have that and the Hellas in there, it'll look nice and dope. But yeah, the next thing I want to do to it really bad is just a minor lift. Especially mostly a leveling lift, but yeah. I'll do maybe an inch in the back too. Just I hate that lean up front, and then just to get a little bit more beefier tire on there. Right now I've got 31s. They're like a size up from stock on there.
They're probably 30 and a halves.
They might be.
I feel like I remember that was the biggest you could run on a stock Tacoma.
Oh, really?
Is it where you go you go down a size in width and then like up 2 sizes in aspect ratio?
Yeah. So they're a little bit bigger than stock. I looked at it not too long ago, but yeah, you might be right. It might be 30 and a half. But I know if I could do another 2 to 2.5 up front, then I can get up to 33s, which I don't know if I want to go that big right away, especially with stock wheels, because I'm not trying to change those out just yet.
Well, you could do like a 1-inch spacer or even a 2-inch spacer. So if you do the Pro Comp leveling lift, that's 3 inches in the front and 1 inch in the rear.
Right.
And that will allow you to run 33s with a 2-inch spacer, 2-inch bolt-on spacer.
Okay. We
did that a lot at 4-Wheel Parts, and it looks very good. It's especially on the factory wheels, I will say. I don't care much for the aftermarket wheels that we had for the Tacomas. I think the pre-runner wheels look really good.
Yeah, I actually like them. I mean, until I decide to invest in aftermarket wheels, which I already know which ones I want, which is kind of bad. But I might just get them repainted or powder coated black, like a matte black, just to kind of offset it. Because right now, the way with the wheels being silver and the paint being silver as well, they're not the same shade, but they're just enough off that it messes with my OCD. So like I'd rather them either be exactly the same or completely different kind of a thing. So
And the brake dust that shows up on the wheels.
yeah,
is
that
probably
too.
enough
That
to
too.
set it off too.
But yeah, either that or I actually know a guy that has a Tacoma, a second gen Tacoma, and he's interested in those. He's like, if you ever get rid of them, let me know. So if I could, I might go just do like the black TRD wheels.
Is that what
as
wheels
well.
you want?
Those not
TRD
right
wheels
away.
are hard to go wrong with. They look
Right,
really
I think
good.
they look great too for factory wheels. But no, what I actually want are Method race wheels.
I really like Method racing wheels.
Yeah, I love pretty much every wheel they have, but
Yeah.
specifically I want the 701s if anybody out there wants to look them up. But yeah, they look fantastic on pretty much any truck.
I agree.
Yeah.
Somebody in here wants to look them up. I was gonna say, what wheels
Do you have the 5 spokes now, or
What
are
wheels?
they split spoke? Do they look like they have
They're-
V's on the ends?
Yeah, they're split.
I was gonna say, what wheels do you want, and why are they Volk 207 or TE37?
Oh yeah,
There is an off-road TE37.
they do make one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do.
they're-
They're like $3,500 a wheel or something like that.
Say
That's not
701s?
true.
701s. Yeah, Method 701s.
Oh, I definitely.
The
looked up
Method
77.
racing wheel is really understated.
Oh,
Not enough.
Oh,
I have
that's
seen
really
this wheel.
nice.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, that's good.
They're most popular as like a Sparco, like on Subaru,
Like Outback
Foresters,
Overlanders?
Outbacks, yeah.
I like this
as like
blue
a
you can get
Sparco
in.
racing.
Oh, that's a brand new blue. They just came out with it a couple
it's
months
so
ago.
good.
It's
Have you
fantastic.
seen
It's
this?
very
I don't think
subtle.
so.
It almost looks like gray, but it's blue.
But they're very much like a Sparco rally wheel knockoff. Oh, that is nice. Wow. Okay.
They're not outrageously expensive either.
No, they're like very reasonable.
Yeah. That's one of the best things about Method racing wheels.
I think when I looked them up actually the other day, kind of in preparation for this, for the size and bolt pattern and everything like that. They're $340 a wheel for my truck if I went up to 17 by 9, and that would be with obviously a lift.
Yeah.
You know, and because I mean these are 16 by 8. Yeah, 16 by 8, the stock wheels. So I'd go up to 17 by 9, put some meat on there. But I just love the way they look. I've seen them on a few different ones, obviously different styles. But there's something about Meth. They just do it right. You know, it's not
simple.
like Fuel
Yeah.
or any of those other off-road brands where they try to like.
Yeah.
They get like the fake bead lock look to them.
Right.
I will say that Method racing does have a lot of fake beadlock wheels,
Well, they
but
do have they have some legit beadlock as well.
yes, they do.
And the one thing that I love about the 701s is they actually have their bead grip technology on them. So it's without beadlock. It's got like ridges on the inside that grip the tire.
Nice.
So
Is
that
it
if
ribbed
you
for her pleasure?
it is ribbed for his pleasure. You put it on inside
hey.
out. But yeah, you can air them down like obviously, like I said, I grew up on the West Coast, so what I eventually would love to do to this truck is make it an actual pre-runner with a long travel kit and wide fenders and everything like that. But
And they look like rally wheels too. Like
Yeah.
they look like a wheel that would go on a rally car.
well, they
which
do
is
a lot. They
perfect
do a
for
lot of
pre-runner.
rally and like side by side, like Can-Ams. They do a lot of those too.
You've also done head and tail lights.
Oh yes, I did. I completely forgot about that. Thank you, Corey. Yeah. So when I got it, the headlights, or I didn't realize it when I bought it, but the driver's side headlight fogged up real bad after a nice drizzle. So I was looking around and I was thinking about possibly just getting factory replacements. And then I was I was like, well, do they make an LED version that looks like that? You know, maybe something with less chrome. I'm not a huge chrome fan on trucks, and was looking around, and I ended up finding ones that they're for the second gen, obviously, but they kind of made them look like the third gen stock lights. They've got the LED light bar, the running light on them, front and back. But yeah, they're just something different. They've got built-in LEDs, so the only actual physical light bulb in there is the turn signal up front and in the back. So those are the only ones I'll ever have to replace. Unless they like burn out, obviously. But
Yeah.
Didn't they like not work or something like that? We had some problem.
so I believe that was the rear, and it was for them being LED lights. The harness that came with it doesn't accept LED light bulbs in the turn signal slot.
Oh, like it doesn't have the built-in resistors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to swap it back out to like your standard halogen bulb.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
which whatever, they're just turn signals, so it's not like they're always on. But
Yeah.
I like the way they look. They're not like super out there like, oh, these are aftermarket, they obviously they are, but they're not crazy like some of the other ones. They don't have like the halo rings all around it and stuff like that. So
It's not early 2000s HIDs.
right. Yeah. That was the last thing I wanted because I found some out there, and
Oh,
I
they
was
exist.
like,
Some.
I was like, yo,
Some.
I was like, I do not want these to be Fast and Furious racer kid on a truck.
So back when I had speaking of Fast and the Furious / Altezza style taillights, when I had my Matrix, my year Matrix was a facelift, and they went to a really ugly Altezza chromey style taillight.
It's so bad.
It's really bad. So I went on the Facebook groups and I found somebody selling a used set of early model red taillights, and he shipped them to me in a box, which were it was a box for aftermarket lights that Toyota ended up modeling the later model chrome lights after. It was literally Fast and the Furious branded Altezza style chrome taillights that look exactly like the 05.
Yes.
So he
Matrix
did zero
taillights.
research, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So that's what he upgraded to, and he sent you the stock ones back in the box.
which is what I wanted. I wanted the old ones. That's really awesome. I'm so happy for you, dude.
Yeah,
Toyota
I
truck.
love it.
2-wheel drive Toyota truck, pal.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be probably gonna be using your garage and your elbow grease here in the next couple weeks or
We're
months.
gonna do some fluid film on it before the winter.
Yeah, I want to do fluid film before the winter, and I'll probably have the leveling kit by then. So, and apparently it's really easy on that truck.
It's not
like
very
terrible. Yeah,
It's very
So-
easy.
you you disconnect the front sway bar and let the front suspension sag down as far as it'll go. And you slide the spacer between the strut and the.
There's two different ones that I'm looking at right now. I'm gonna go back and look at the Pro Comp one. I did look at it for a little while, and then for some reason I don't remember. Maybe it just didn't stay in my realm of thought, or there was maybe it was because it was 3 inches and not 2. I don't know, whatever. But the other two that I was looking at, one was the Eibach set, which is just 2.5 up front and 1 in the rear, and then you could do an extra one if you do blocks, but I don't want to do blocks.
What does that change out in the rear? Is that different leaf springs, or is that just like a spacer between the leaf spring and the axle?
It's a spacer.
Yeah, it's just a spacer.
And I'm trying to remember for the Tacoma, some of the leveling kits came with like a e-brake cable spacer. I don't think the Tacomas did, so I'm pretty sure the Tacomas just had the shim, the leaf shim.
Yeah.
And then the shock and stabilizer bar spacers in the front. But the thing that you got to remember is that when you get to the Pro Comp kit, which the Pro Comp kit when we were selling them was the cheapest kit that you could get. Mm-hmm. But your alignment was basically destined to be some degree of positive camber.
Right.
Most people are okay with that. It's like positive 0.2 degrees or whatever. So it's not
nothing crazy.
Significant.
Yeah.
But that's just something that you got to know.
Time to start maybe thinking about adjustable upper control arms.
Well,
that was another thing that I was looking at as well. What was the other kit? Oh, it was Bilstein lift kit, leveling kit, and it was I believe I found there was one. I think it's called Yoda Mafia is the website, and they do a lot of parts for Toyotas. Obviously, it was the whole kit. It was the front,
the strut,
strut and
well, the Bilstein kit is just a different strut. So with the Bilstein kit, you get a strut that has a collar that fits on the spring perch.
You're talking about the 5100s?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has,
I don't know.
it has three
5100.
three
But you
different
just
places
you
can put
move the
spring
ring
mount.
up
Yeah.
based on whatever level of leveling you want. So then you would still need like a shim for the rear leaf, but like for the front kit, it's just the strut
Right.
like spacing.
But
Basically.
the setup that I found was the whole front section, and they actually build it out for you. So like you don't have to worry about compressing springs and everything like that.
Oh,
it comes,
okay.
Like a quick strut.
Yeah, they assemble it for you.
Nice.
With new top hats and everything. Because a lot of those kits that I found, you reuse, some of the parts.
Yeah.
So it comes fully assembled. You literally just drop out and replace. And then the rear comes with an extra leaf. That actually for the TRD Pro, it's like thicker. It's thicker than the leaves on the truck now. So you swap out the extra leaf that they put on the TRD off-road one to stiffen up the rear suspension, and you replace it with this Icon add-a-leaf.
Oh.
So, and that's what gives you that little bit extra. So everything's leveled out. So you do get a lift out of the whole thing, but it levels the whole truck.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Icon is usually a pretty expensive.
Oh yeah,
mix.
no, I found some of their full lifts,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I might as
talk
well
about,
go full on
Yeah.
Dirt King.
Icon makes some really, really nice, like actual desert runner, longs travel.
Oh yeah, their stuff
extended
is
control arm
great.
and
I mean, it
everything.
looks.
But you're talking like $8,000-$9,000
Yeah.
for.
There was a cheap
An
one that I
Icon
found. It was a 3-inch lift, but it was the full suspension kit with brand new leaf pack and everything like that. It was like $3,500,
Wow.
and that was their cheap version.
Yeah.
How high can you go before you start needing to look at extended brake lines and stuff like that?
All the way to the moon, baby.
From what I've read, anything over 3 inches, unless you start getting in, because like with some of like the long travel kits, like all the like the pre-runners and stuff have a lot of those, you'd actually only get about 2 inches. Some of them are only like 2 or 3 inches lifted, but it's
the overall travel.
the travel. Yeah, then those you definitely want to get, stainless steel braided, and you need to do the math to get those,
Yeah.
unless you buy like a built out kit from like a Dirt King Fabrications, which I've already looked at and priced out. And that's, another 15 grand. That includes the fenders and the wheels and tires, because you'd need to replace the whole front and rear fenders to clear all the wheels and everything. But yeah, that's like full setup. But yeah, they, once you start looking at that, and then with the geometry of how everything sits, which a lot of those kits they factor in, and which is nice, and they actually make everything sit nice and square. And then the one thing I really like about like the Dirt King is their lower control arms. They have a bush or a shim that you can put in there, and it locks your alignment in place.
I've seen
So
those.
if you go off-roading, it's not gonna, because literally with your standard Tacoma,
With those eccentric bolts.
yeah, if I try to go off-roading for 5 minutes, my entire alignment's going to be off. It might not be off by a lot, but it's all going to be off with these off-road kits, especially ones that are built for like race trucks. A lot of them, they have those locking shim in there that'll keep
Or it's
everything.
even like it reinforces those tabs that
Yeah.
that locate it so they don't bend.
So what we had found when we were doing leveling kits on any Toyotas, we would basically by default have to sell them new eccentric bolts.
They
But-
seize up like crazy.
Yeah, they do. But when we were doing the 6-inch lift kits, the drop subframe, the like stop for where the eccentric bolt would like ride against would just break off.
Yeah, the little like folded piece of metal.
Well, it wasn't folded. It was just like a welded like 1/4-inch square
It's a little tab.
steel tab.
They call them taco tabs.
Well, I don't know,
Yeah.
but they would break off on the Pro Comp kits pretty regularly, so we would have to run like a bead against those. So what we had found was that past like 3 inches of lift on basically any truck, you would need some form of aftermarket brake line if you needed, even if you just needed to like bend the factory hard line down like an inch, just to get that extra 1 inch of travel or whatever.
You're always searching for that extra inch.
Always. But the Tundra long travel kit is only 3 inches of lift, but it's like an additional 8 inches of swing.
Oh, yeah.
Crap.
So that's the Pro Comp kit, and that's only like $3,000. So I don't know if that was the kit that we had just started selling when I quit 4-wheel parts. So I don't know if the Tacoma has one now or not, but I don't know. That was so cool to me because it was like the track was widened by like 10 inches total in the front. It was just wild to see. I never got to install one. I really wanted to.
And that's the other thing is like I said, I grew up out west, so I saw these pre-runners growing up and used to go out to the desert or the dunes and everything like that. But the other thing is like, unfortunately, there's not a lot of reason to have one out here. There's not a lot of places to do it. But like that's one of the reasons why once I get this paid off and I can start throwing money at it and have a daily driver that I don't have to worry about, even if it's like a Honda Civic or whatever, just something reliable that I can.
Kia Optimas are great.
Kia Optimas apparently. I start throwing money at it. That's what I want to do. I want to build a pre-runner because I don't see many of them around here, if any. Which it pissed me off. Actually, not too long ago, about a month ago, I was at the stoplight right by the house, and in the left turn lane there was a second gen Silver Streak Mica Tacoma with the full long travel kit, widened fenders, and I was like, where are you from and where are you going? Like, if I didn't have to pee so bad, if I didn't have to pee so bad, I would have like cut in behind somebody else and like, hey, let me look at your truck.
If it ain't bad for Cotton Eye Joe.
I was at Dunkin' Donuts this morning, and I pulled up and parked. And as I was about to, I picked up my coffee, and as I was about to leave, a guy pulled in with a black 4th gen 4Runner with full King remote reservoir suspension on it. I was like,
Yes, please.
Sweet Jesus.
More money than sense.
I mean, it looked really rad.
Although, like, realistically, you might need King shocks. Arguably, you could need King shocks to drive around in downtown Richmond.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Well, yes, I would say King shocks. Yeah, I mean, I think even if I don't ever go like full long travel, like pre-runner, whatever, just King shocks in general, they do an amazing job for, especially Toyotas. But I mean, in general, like
Eibach has kits now
amazing-
that are rivaling that now too.
Yeah.
Really?
Very cool stuff.
They don't have anything for my truck yet.
Really? Oh,
Just just that leveling kit for now.
So when are you supercharging your truck?
yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't. Why?
So supercharging a 1GR is really cool. For
Yeah, it is.
About 20,000 miles.
I thought it was 60.
Depends on how crazy you are with it.
If it was
But
60,
they do not like boost. They just don't. The UZ takes it better.
That's fair.
The 1GR, it leave it alone. Let it be reliable. It's fine.
So when are you
Eventually-
supercharging?
I really want to.
Yeah.
I've seen it on quite a few online, and I think it's the go-to is the
Underground racing development.
No, the one that I always see is the what did you guys just put it, the Magnuson?
Magnuson doesn't make a kit anymore for the non-VVT 1GRs.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've
seen
seen
it.
them.
Underground Racing does.
Okay, I've seen quite a few of them though. Maybe this is. I mean, it is 2021 and we're on the 3rd gen, so maybe they stopped making it. But a lot of them, they would do that with the HP tuner kit,
They do it for like
or they would just take it to
the
HP
5th
tuner.
gen 4Runners, where it's like the current generation of the 1GR. They make Magnusons for that,
Okay,
but not for ours, unfortunately.
yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, they probably. I mean, they just might not do it anymore. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure they did.
It
once
makes
upon a
sense.
time.
Yeah, I mean we're in 2021 and they stopped making my 2nd gen in 2014, so it makes sense. We're almost 7 years.
I had a couple of small things that I did recently and am about to do on the 4Runner.
Oh yeah.
So I put airlift rear airbags on there, which are manually actuated via a tire style Schrader valve that I put through the rear bumper cover right next to the latch for the rear hatch door. So it's like invisible from the outside, but you open the rear hatch and you can kind of see it.
I think we talked about these last time.
I don't think we
We
did.
talked about them.
Yeah, we talked about these bags in general because I was unaware that they existed.
Yeah.
But now you have them, which is awesome.
It's it's like minimum inflation. You just ride around with them at 5 psi, and even at that, I can tell a difference in how bouncy the rear is. Maximum is 35 psi. I haven't towed with them yet, but I'm very excited to. I think they're going to make a huge difference.
I'm surprised you haven't just like gotten the trailer out and driven it around or something like that.
It's not easy to
that's
get.
fair.
Soon.
You need to like buy a Bobcat or something like that so you can move this stuff around in your mud pit.
Very soon that will be happening. But yeah, it was a pretty straightforward install. I did it in like 3 hours in the dark in my driveway. Not too bad.
So ideal conditions.
Yeah, it was great. I had my Jackery out there with because both of my rechargeable light sources were dead, so I just had them attached to the Jackery and had them like move them around as I needed to. Worked fine. I didn't. All you have to do is you drop the rear axle down, disconnect the sway bar and the shocks, drop the axle down, pull the springs out, cut the bump stops that are built into the top spring seat.
Because they're like 5-inch long cones.
Oh, they're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut like basically all of it off and just like shove the spring down in, or the airbag down into the spring and run your airlines and you're good to go. Super easy. Pretty cool.
Yep. The 4Runner, if you want to do like a 4-inch lift on the 4Runners and the Tacomas, you replace that huge ass cone with a taller, huge-ass cone.
And it's not even like the real bump stop because it has other bump stops like bolted to the outside of the frame.
Yep.
I don't really understand, but whatever. I also ordered... I had previously purchased the now forum famous $100 Napa 8-foot awning for the roof rack.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That thing is sweet.
Every other day, somebody else is posting on Facebook like, "Oh my God, did you see this?" And I'm like,
"It's genuinely
100
great
times.
For $100. You can't beat it. It's great." But the hardware, like the mounting hardware that comes with it, is very basic, and I didn't really like how I had it set up before, and I didn't want to feel like drilling holes in my crossbars. So I ordered some Gzilla, is the seller on the internet.
I hate it so much.
I know. It's he makes brackets that fit into the sliders for where the factory cross rails go on the factory roof rack.
Yeah.
So I ordered a 3-pack, and it cost $5 more than the awning did to get these these brackets.
Wait, so you paid $105 for brackets to hold your $100 awning to your truck?
Definitely not.
Yes.
That sounds like some stupid shit I'd do.
They're really nice brackets.
That's some real white people stuff right there.
Yeah.
But like seriously, the ones that it came with, like they stick out really far, and like
I saw them. They were
This is
hooky.
not a
They were
$100
hooky.
awning anymore. I mean, this is not a budget awning anymore.
I mean,
it is.
and the equivalent ARB is $350.
And
Like,
you spent
$100 on the Napa plus $105 on the brackets, which I would have needed for an ARB anyway.
Would you have though?
Yes,
Would you have though?
probably.
Would you have
I'm
though?
fairly confident.
Most likely.
Yeah, the mounting is not great.
Most of those come with really crappy mounting hardware.
I gotta say that ARB is pretty good at mounting stuff. On the whole, like
Preparation H feels good. Oh no! Who hasn't seen Austin Powers?
Really good. That was really quick. Oh
Yes,
my
I
God.
agree. Preparation H does feel good on the whole.
That was so fast.
You just caught me off guard.
Yeah. That was clever. Well done. Well done.
But yes, I'm very excited about, and I'm gonna order. I'm gonna add more expense to this, and I'm gonna go on once I figure out the thread of these bolts that they come with. I'm gonna go on McMaster and order tamper-proof nuts so that people.
So you're gonna
can
spend another $105.
No, the tamper nuts are like $5.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
They're not that bad.
So I just want people to not be able to jump up there with a 1/2-inch wrench and steal my shit. So
Do you ride around with it all the time now?
He does.
I did. I don't have it on there right now, but yes,
That is the plan.
that is the plan.
it's a little weird.
It's
mean-
dope. I love that thing.
Have you calculated your MPG loss?
Yeah, I have a scan gauge that constantly tells me what my MPG
So what's
is.
the difference?
Literally 0.
That can't be true.
Dude, the cross section is the size of a
It's
softball.
Huge. No, it's huge, man.
If you look at it end on, it's this big around.
But you have the crossbars mounted too all the time.
Yeah.
Which
he always had.
Factory
They're always
crossbars.
there.
They're this thick.
you've always had the crossbars on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so have you calculated what the MPG would be without the crossbars?
No. But they don't
Okay.
make any like wind noise or anything. They actually have
Well-
spots on the roof rack that say put them here for the least amount
Right.
of wind resistance.
Right, but that's not. There's still that's still drag.
Sure, but I don't care.
Got it. Okay.
I get 25 on the highway. That's pretty good for a 4Runner.
Fair enough.
That's really hilarious because that's what the RAV4 gets.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Y'all want to know what the CRV gets?
Well, I should say.
Well, you also have giant tires on the CRV.
It's true.
I should say that is the average for the
Oh,
RAV4.
my average is not 25.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
average is like 17 and a half. You know what you should do? You should buy a $100 8-foot Napa roof rack canopy and put it on your Corona.
if the the Corona's roof would rip off.
It would look like a knight jousting its way down the highway.
Do you want a 98 Chevy Blazer?
You
I
say
don't,
that.
thank you.
You say that. He might take you up
I
on
do,
that.
no, absolutely would not. I will say that for the entirety of my professional Chevrolet career, the S10 truck and Blazer were the worst vehicles that I ever had to work on.
What?
That is kind of shocking.
It's so easy to work on.
But like they all needed ball joints.
Oh, yeah.
And to replace the ball joints for the first time on those cars, you have to grind off the rivets, which is like a 5-hour process to replace
That's
all
fair.
4 on both sides. And the door hinges all need to be replaced, which is like a weld-on process.
Do they rip away from the frame?
The pin wears into the body side hinge bracket, so it like elongates the hole.
Yep.
And so then you have to cut that off and weld on a new one.
Right.
And then I don't know, they were aggravating.
I believe mine are bolt-on.
You probably had them replaced then.
Ah, okay.
They're probably the newer
Oh,
ones.
did they like put in like a captive nut or something as a replacement?
We welded them, but there were several. There was a bulletin. It was a whole thing. The people who owned the S10s at the time that I was working up
There
there
it is.
were the main problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
As is true with many vehicles,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I know the people. They used to wave at me. Yours still runs too.
Yeah, I don't know. If I was gonna buy a mini truck, what would I get?
First gen Frontier?
No.
No,
Toyota
No.
pickup.
I mean, it would have to be a Toyota, but I would have trouble affording one.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That or a Nissan Hardbody. I could see.
You're gonna have trouble affording one of those now too.
No. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Like if you're trying
Drift
to
truck,
truck mini
bro.
trucks, right?
Dude,
I mean, I think
Ford
it'd have to be a
Ranger.
Ford Ranger.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Ranger.
Ford
Ranger.
Ryan did it.
Ryan did it.
For $2,000.
Shut
I'm
up!
saying.
I know.
So
But that's
it makes
like-
me so
He
mad.
bought a truck 1 year newer than mine for my down payment.
It's
But it'll-
so upsetting.
It'll
But
last.
which one would you rather have?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
last. It'll
I'm
last
just
a
saying.
quarter of the lifetime.
When he told me that, because he bought it like what, a month after I got my
Something
Tacoma.
like that, yeah.
I was like, oh, how much you get for? How much you pay for it? Like $2,000. Okay, cool. So that was my down payment at the bank.
But I'm happy with the Suburban because I've been driving the Suburban around a lot recently because the CRV's been having some weird issues, and the Suburban actually gets like 18 miles to the gallon.
That's
That's
cool.
shocking.
Really good.
Yeah,
That's really shocking.
I think the CRV would probably get closer to 20, 21 if it didn't have 30-inch tires on it.
No shit. In other news, if a Suburban had a 4-cylinder, it might do better than 12 miles per gallon.
No, it wouldn't, absolutely, because it weighs 6,000 pounds. I mean, if it had the...
It was a poor metaphor,
Okay.
Pierce. I got it.
I have a mini thing. If
Do you?
guys want to talk? Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a thing.
Is it literally about minis?
No, it's not about
Oh.
minis, unfortunately. I want to ask this question specifically because Adam's here and I know his answer. But how do I even want to ask the question? Do you guys let your gas tank get all the way empty before you refill?
Absolutely not.
I know.
Never.
I know. Because I saw some post on
Define
Facebook.
absolutely empty.
How long after the light comes on?
I
So this is assuming you have a working light.
I rarely get to the light,
Okay.
except for on the Fit, because the Fit has a super accurate like miles left gauge.
Yeah. So
on it.
rarely get to the light. Never had a working
I don't think
light.
I have a single car that the fuel light works on. I know for a fact that when the Swift is completely full, like overflowing onto the ground at Sheetz, my gauge only shows 3/4.
Yeah.
So when it gets to empty, I've still got at least 100 miles to go. And the light never comes on.
Yeah.
The CRV light will come on completely randomly, like literally for no reason whatsoever. It'll show like have filled up, I'll have gone 50 miles, and the fuel light will come on, and it'll be on for like 20 miles. The Suburban I don't even think has a fuel light, but it also has like a 130 gallon tank. So I rarely fill that one up to
Apocalypse
full.
vehicle.
I'm saying. Because it's got the tow package too, so it's got the extended range fuel tank. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
How much does it cost to fill it up?
I've never filled it up completely. Never. I have never. So I literally like put the nozzle in and walked away from it at one point and like went to buy food or
Sprint
whatever.
back like, oh no.
Well, like I came back and it had stopped at $100.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the tank was like 3/4 full.
Oh my god.
I regret that.
But at least it gets 17 miles per gallon.
I have always wanted to buy a diesel truck and then get one of those like Goliath 60-gallon tanks or stuff like that.
Buddy.
Because I will run that thing to like I'm
to the slurps.
yeah. Till like I'll the fuel light will come the light will come on and then I'll drive another 50 miles or 40 miles or
You
something like
absolute mad lad.
that. I know. So the reason I brought this up is because I saw some Facebook meme or whatever making fun of people. I think it was making fun of people selling their cars on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and it was like, I know what I have, blah blah blah, and, But then it was like, what's actually wrong with the car? And it's like oil change every 10,000 miles, like starves the fuel pump once a week or whatever. Yeah. But like. Part of my problem is the RAV4 has like a 13.5 gallon tank. I put like 14.2 gallons in it one time. I was like, whoa!
The lines all the way to the injectors.
So, but like I had to drive to Georgia a couple weeks ago, and
That's a really small tank for that vehicle.
yeah, I had to drive to Georgia the other day, a couple weeks ago, and I filled up twice on the way down and twice on the way back.
Jesus.
It's like and Adam over here is like a half a tank guy.
Yep, every time. Half a tank. I fuel up every other day.
And so do I, and I burn all 14 gallons. Like this is my
Sometimes I'll go 3 days, but
this is my problem. I'd stop at a gas station 3 times a day. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Road trips are different. If I'm on a road trip, I'll go until I'm quarter of a tank, maybe even less. If I'm in a well-populated area, I might go till the light comes on because I don't want to stop a million times. But day-to-day driving, I hate, like, I've been caught in too many situations, or I've been like my mom, when I was growing up, been caught into too many situations where it's like, oh, we need to go do this, or, oh, so-and-so's in the hospital, and you get outside and you're like, oh, got to go to the gas station. Like, I don't like to be like, I'm one of those super prepper guys, but like if shit does hit the fan, like I want to be able to get out of Virginia.
Yeah. So you're asking the wrong question. Like, it's not how low do I let my fuel tank get? Like, I have to factor in like what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the week. So like for this week, I know that tomorrow I'm not going to have time to fill up my fuel tank. And Wednesday, I'm not going to have time to fill up my fuel tank because of different things that I have going on like immediately after work. So because I knew that I had 200 miles on this tank, yeah, I could have gone back and forth to work maybe 1.5 more times, but my Kroger fuel points expire tomorrow. So I know that
you're going tonight.
Yeah, the 10 cents. Well, I already went. My 10-cent off discount,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to use it by the time that I have to fill up, it had to be today. So That's really what's important to me.
I suppose it just like I don't know. I was just thinking about it because I saw that post and I was driving the other day and it's like I'd stop it every day, every 3 hours. I don't know. It's like,
But you run it to empty every day.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The real problem with that is your company gave you a vehicle that gets that crappy gas mileage
That's
with
true.
that small of a gas tank.
Do you remember how we were talking a year and a half ago
year and a
about
half.
the RAV4 and how it was the forgotten about Toyota?
Yeah.
We were trying to program a new key for a new Toyota RAV4 last week, and literally none of the standard processes to learn a new key to a new Toyota worked on the RAV4. There was like a whole, like, you put your left foot in, you hang your right arm out the window, you roll the windows up and down 3 times, and then you hold the key between 2 and 3 inches from the sensor and press the OK button 3.5 times. It was just so.
To be fair, I feel like the new RAV4 is the first of the new generation of Toyota vehicles, I feel like.
Call it whatever you want. It's still a Toyota aside from every other Toyota. Like even
yeah.
currently,
Yeah.
the current RAV4 is a completely different Toyota vehicle.
Even to like the new Corolla?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it still has like its own proprietary cooling system that, like, you know, most other Toyotas still have like a metal radiator cap on the radiator and then also a coolant reservoir. And the RAV4 still has the total, like, completely
pressurized
pressurized
reservoir?
cooling system. Yep. And if you search the RAV4 by VIN, according to the VINs, all of the 2021s are all hybrids. Like, the VINs don't even work. If you enter a VIN into a search, they're all hybrids, even though all of the ones that we have are gasoline. I don't know. It's just the RAV4 is still like an anomaly.
The bastard child.
It's an absolute anomaly in the world of Toyotas. I love them, but I hate working on them, dude.
I believe
Because
it.
The parts are wrong every time. You know, you could get a brake set for a RAV4 and it'll be one of 3 different versions of brakes. I don't know where I was going with this rant, but
No, I feel you. I feel it.
RAV4.
It's a weird car.
It's a weird car,
Yeah.
man.
That's probably why I like them.
I tell you what I really, really like about it took me until this past week or 2 weeks ago to put my finger on it real good, was I carry a full-size spare on the back of the car. That is so great. I got a flat tire in North Carolina the other day and ended up cross-threading a wheel lug, which was great. Yeah, that was fun. So I was taking it off, and it was, like, difficult. Like, I had to wrench it almost all the way off, and I was like, oh, this is going to suck. So then I started to, like, put it back on, and I got, like, 2 turns, by hand, and then I had to put the wrench on it, and I got it, like, I was like, is this dirty, or is it cross-threading? I'm, like, turning it and turning it and turning it. And then eventually it, like, really started to get, like, seized up. So I backed it off, like, a half a turn or whatever. And it was still, like, 3/4 of an inch from touching the wheel. And I was like, oh. So I just left it there. And put
It's not coming off.
You got 4 other lug
I
nuts.
put
that's
the
fine.
other 4 on. They were fine.
they were fine.
And then I drove it straight to Discount Tire. Because I got the flat and I had their warranty or whatever.
You have the worst tire luck with that car.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's
I've
unbelievable.
never in my life have I hit so many nails and screws.
Is it
and
because there's so much construction going on at hospitals all the time?
maybe?
You want to know what
yeah,
else
but you
is
never
unique?
had that issue with the Volkswagens.
No.
Not as bad.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
You want to know what else is unique to the RAV4? The tire size that comes on his car. No other car uses that tire size. It's like
like
a
a 215
205/60.
Wait, what?
I have no idea what it
I was
is.
gonna guess like 215 60 16 or something like that.
We have to like special order in the tires for RAV4s when we replace them.
Discount Tire has the size.
Well, of course they
I
do
don't
because
know.
they're like a wholesale warehouse.
I know.
But
I know. Anyways, I went there and
Did they have the stud?
no, I had to make an appointment. They were gonna fix the tire, but the tread was low enough that they needed to be replaced anyways.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, we'll just do new tires. I don't pay for it. So I made an appointment. I came back, the next day or whatever, and the dude was replacing the tires, and he came in. He was like, "Hey, man," and I was like, "The wheel lug?" And he was like, "Yeah. How'd you know?" I was like, "'Cause I changed the tire. I put it on there." Whatever. He's like, "Okay, well, like, we have to break it.
Okay.
What? Like, it won't come off? Like, it won't come off at all? I was like, no, it's just stuck. We have to break it to get it off. I was like, okay.
That means they had already broken it.
Yeah, 100p.
I'm sure that is what that meant.
Go tell him we got to go do this.
So he brought it back. He brought it to me. He brought me
The
broken lug. He was like, do you want to keep this? I was like,
Did he
why
just
not?
turn around and reach into his pocket and be like,
So,
he said, okay, all right. Oh, here, okay. Oh, yeah, all right, here it is.
so he was like, so you'll have to get that replaced. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Oh, are you? No, we can't do that.
Oh.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks, I guess. You didn't do it, so I can't like hold you responsible for
That's probably what they were
cross-threading
doing. They were worried that you were going to blame them for breaking your wheel lug.
or for cross-threading it in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised by that because most tire, like Firestone and NTB, will not let you leave as like a liability thing without having replaced that wheel stud and nut.
No, he was like totally cool. He's like, so you only got 4 lugs for now. Like,
yeah, but
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like NTB and Firestone, they also do other services.
I would assume
So
that,
they have wheel studs,
I mean, tire warehouse or whatever it is called,
Discount Tire.
Discount Tire. They do like oil changes and state inspections and
I
shit.
don't think they
No,
do.
The
they
one on
just
Hall Street?
tires.
Just tires.
just tires.
The one on Hall Street does oil
Yeah.
changes and state inspections.
Hall Street and Courthouse?
Yeah.
No,
Next
just
Just tires.
Next to
Big Lots and the old Harley store that is now.
I know what you're thinking about.
speed
You're
shop.
thinking of the shop.
the other shop that I always used to get my cars past
Yeah.
at.
Leet.
the little gray one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget
Underneath
the
the
name
Brian
Inconsequential.
Stratton.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, no, it's just wheels and tires, and they don't even align.
yeah, they don't do alignments either. So as I was sitting there, I was making an
Interesting.
appointment because I need to get the oil changed anyways. I was making an appointment with the dealership for the next day, and so I drove it down there the next day. Excuse me, and I pulled in like the service bay, and the lady comes out and is looking at me. I was like, "Hey, I have an appointment for 8:30. My name's Corey." She was like, "You do?" I was like, "Yeah, I sure do." She's like, "I don't see anywhere in our appointment book. I don't have a RAV4 for today." I was like, "Well, I made an appointment for today. What now?" You know. She's like, "Well, do you have the email or the text message?" I looked it up. No, it's for the 19th.
For the record, we are currently recording on the 9th.
Yeah, and this was
Last week.
this week. I think it was Wednesday. So that was the 6th or whatever that I thought I made the appointment for. No, apparently it's for the 19th because that was their next availability for an oil change.
Probably because they have no
What?
techs. Probably because they have no techs right now.
Maybe.
I don't.
Which one did you make the appointment with?
Haley McGeorge?
Haley
Priority.
yeah, no, Haley, the one on Hall Street at 288.
That's Haley.
Oh,
Yeah,
Haley.
Haley, yeah.
The one that
Haley.
has no cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, none of them do. But so, what did they do for you though?
Nothing. We couldn't do anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, so you still have 4 lugs?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
Sure do.
All right.
Toyota did not have as big of a production interruption at first with this chip
At
shortage
first.
because they had experienced this before and had a stockpile,
Yep.
unlike everybody else.
However,
I mean, if it goes on long enough, everybody's affected, but they held on longer than most.
I will say that the only new cars that we're getting in right now have been Nissans.
I'm sorry.
I know. Me too.
Isn't that like all you have though?
Our fleet is like 45% Nissans, 45% Chryslers, and 10% everything else.
Hyundai.
Not a lot of
Kia.
Chevys.
We have a lot of Chevy trucks. We have a lot of Chevy Malibus.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the majority of the fleet is Sentras and Altimas and Rogues. for
As
sure.
I've said before, Nissan is the Chrysler of Japan.
Yeah.
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 What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, do you have to go to the dealership?
I mean, no, but
Take her over to Firestone. They'll find
I was gonna
you
say,
they'll
like-
fiend you a stud from like Napa. and
Take
throw
it to
that
my
shit in there.
house.
I was just say,
What are we doing?
go to like Rue and up at Harris. I don't know.
Take it to.
I know it's Petersburg,
Take it
but-
to Ryan over at Firestone. Ryan Sabrito.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He works at Subaru.
No, he's the
He's the-
GM at a Firestone.
yeah,
Ryan Sabrito.
Yeah, he
Has
like
been- has been
runs
for a
a,
while.
Firestone for years.
yeah, yeah.
You gonna
Yeah,
call
dude.
him now too?
No. No. You're wrong.
No,
I promise. I'm pretty sure it's the one at Huguenot and Robius, too.
it is. He did some work on the GTI ones.
He's been, I mean, unless he moved recently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
False.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
is the lead tech at Subaru.
He was the lead tech at
Currently.
Subaru. Unless he moved
I
again.
guarantee you.
He was at Firestone less than a year ago.
I just talked to him last weekend.
Then this is new.
No, he was working at Subaru when Landon was working at Subaru.
Yeah, and then,
then
he
he
left,
left.
and went to Firestone.
If he ever went to Firestone, I didn't know about it, but currently
Clearly.
works at Hyman Brothers Subaru. It says it
well,
right
good for
there.
him. I just ordered parts from them today.
Congratulations, Ryan.
I ordered what do you call it? The flapper intake thing on a Subaru. I ordered the
Throttle button.
No, it's the
I was thinking the same thing.
it's not,
It's not like an airflow
The
meter,
valve,
right?
the
the
intake
variable
timing thing.
intake
oh,
flapper
yeah.
the actuator. I ordered an actuator for them today because we ordered another one and the tech broke it, so I ordered a second one.
Good.
that we're paying for this time.
So no, I don't have to take it to the dealership, but like, I don't know.
I mean, I get it. I would too if it was a company vehicle.
Yeah.
But if it's not till the 19th.
They're called TGV valves.
They're pretty reasonably priced. I feel like I don't know. They charge me like $50 for an oil change.
Yeah.
You know, so whatever.
Synthetic?
Yeah, Toyotas use 020 synthetic or 018 synthetic now.
016 on the Camrys.
Is it?
It's his car should take 520.
Yes. I hear you. We have a special.
Welcome to Oil Talk.
We have a special barrel of oil that we have to use for Toyotas, and it's. I thought it was 018. You sure it's 016?
I think it's 016.
Okay,
The
wow.
new stuff is using like straight 12 or something like that. It's
Just
so
12
yeah,
weight.
it's like 12 weight. It's so stupid.
What are you thinking, Lance? 30 weight.
No, dude, 12. We're putting straight water in this bitch.
Where are the engines, Ted?
warehouse.
They're in the warehouse.
man. Good shit.
God bless. But apparently, and after I thought about it for 2 seconds, it makes sense. But they called me back, and the wheel stud replacement is like a 3-hour job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't considered
Yeah, it's not
the
cheap.
whole like 4-wheel drive thing, and
Yeah.
everything. But
Yeah, they probably got to drive the hub out of the
yeah,
knuckle and everything.
yeah. Like I said, it made sense after I thought about it. For
Is
2
it on the
seconds.
front or the rear?
It's like just replace
front.
replace the wheel bearing while you're in there, kind of thing.
I don't think that's really necessary. It's probably a bolt-on bearing for that car. But I mean, at the very least, they got to separate the axle from the knuckle.
Right.
Yeah, and like that involves like taking the caliper and the brake rotor off and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm about to do a recall on a 3500 Ram,
3,500.
Ram truck like dually thing, because they
rent those?
what's that?
They rent those
Yeah, we do.
at
Yeah.
Enterprise?
It's a specialty vehicle, yes.
Oh
but
my god.
yes,
I know
you
what I'm
absolutely
getting in
can rent them.
Arizona.
Seriously.
You can get all sorts of big trucks from Enterprise. It's cool.
I'm sure it's
Yeah.
like a bazillion dollars
It's
a day.
you have to have like a
Oh, is it
specialty license. and
the
everything.
commercial
tell you how-
side
It's
of
a
it?
commercial. Yeah, it's a
Okay,
commercial,
okay,
commercial
gotcha.
rental.
We rented a Dodge Caravan in Chicago, and it was
Did you get it from Enterprise?
it was from like what's
I'm just gonna say you f***ed up.
Davis Hertz.
it was neither of those. It was one that I wasn't super familiar with.
Budget.
No, I think it started with an A.
Alamo.
Alamo.
That's me, man. You f***ed up.
Whatever, dude. It's
fucked up.
the only one that had a minivan for rent at the time.
That's Enterprise.
Literally, they
Alamo
were the
is
only
Enterprise?
ones with. Okay, I didn't know that.
Just saying.
Okay.
We're Enterprise National Alamo.
It was more than all of our plane tickets to rent this car
yeah
for 4 days.
And you know what? I could have got you an 85% discount.
I'm sure you could have, and I feel dumb for
Yeah,
not
you
asking
should.
about it.
You should.
I do.
That's what I did for going to the beach.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
'Cause
Anyways.
you are a smarter man than I.
Anyways.
What were you going to say about Dodge Caravans?
It cost us like
Ah,
$900
okay,
to rent it for 4 days.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to talk about them.
Yeah, rental
in
prices
general.
are
No,
way,
it's-
way up right now.
The- the way-
Even if we didn't have a friend that works at Enterprise, I've got a corporate discount for them too. You could have got it for like $100.
The mid-row seats fold in an interesting way that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, they like kind of spin
Forward.
It's super Transformers, and I'm way into
Yeah,
it
yeah.
until they break, and then it's a real pain in the
I'm
dick.
sure
but-
that
they like-
mechanism does not look
No,
easy
but
to
it's-
replace.
Yeah,
They like come inboard as well.
Uh-huh.
It's like really cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's almost they don't fold into the floor like the older ones
Those are really
used
good.
to. Those were the stow and go seating. Those were cool.
Yeah, those were cool.
They also have like the pop-up roof rails. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
I-
they
I-
break a lot.
I'm sure they do. They
Yeah.
look very flimsy.
Did you fold the rears as well?
No, we were carrying a lot of people around all the time.
The rears fold with like a 4-step pull this strap, then pull this strap, then pull this strap. It's really weird. It's like they're literally numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's like pull this one, now go over here and pull this one, and now go over here and pull this one, and then you pull the fourth one. And it's like
That's what it's all
fold
about.
into the thing. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And that's in the Pacificas. There's one button.
Of
It makes
course,
like a
there
flat,
is.
it makes like a flat trunk, right?
Yeah. It's in fact it's the only van that it can have a completely flat cargo space.
When I was looking at Mitsubishi Monteros back in the day, the standard Montero, not the sport, the unibody Montero, the rear seats folded in a similar way into the floor and made a flat cargo area, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's the other thing I love about the Blazer.
Oh, it does the same thing? That's cool.
They fold. They fold down. They just simple pull tab and fold down, but it's completely flat.
yeah. For the middle row? Or the
No,
I
I've
guess-
only
so you have
there's only 2 rows,
Okay,
but
yeah.
it's completely level with the. That was one of the reasons why I was like, I want to keep this and
The 4
use it for camping.
That's
yeah.
why I bought it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I can fit a queen size bed in the back of the Suburban without having to fold down any seats. So
I'm looking at first gen Sequoias with a very lustful eye these days. And it's kind of
not the same.
Do you have $1 billion?
They're not that expensive.
Are they
dude.
not?
Nobody cares about first gen Sequoias. It's amazing. Yeah, you can get like a
That would be your new tow vehicle, or
I mean, in a couple of years, yeah, probably tow vehicle / daily.
yeah.
Yeah, they're sweet.
What would
That'd
you
be
do with the 4Runner?
I would sell it.
With all the crap you've done to it,
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to.
you don't have to do it again.
I'm like right at that point where it's like, do I really want to do this all again? The answer is probably not. But if a second kid enters the picture, it's either sell the Fit and buy a minivan, or sell the 4Runner and buy a Sequoia. And I'm really leaning at the buy a Sequoia thing.
You should get a Mazda 5.
No,
A Mazda 5.
it's like a Fit but worse.
It is the worst.
Really? Are they that
Oh
that
my
bad?
God, they're
They're
so
not
bad.
bad.
They're
They're just-
so bad.
It's a
no,
Mazda
you should
3.
No. With the Ford engine though. With the Ford Z-Tech engine.
I hate to break it to you, but all the Mazda 3s until like 2013 had the Ford engine in them.
Didn't they have the 2ZR? The
It's an MZR engine,
yeah,
which is a Ford engine. It's
no,
the
no.
Ford
the Mazda 5
2.3.
has the 1.8 Z-Tech engine.
No, they have 2.3s. 4-cylinder, just like the Mazda 3, which is why the Mazda Speed 3 drivetrain like bolts into a
Not
Mazda
all
5.
of them, I promise you.
Okay, well that's fine. Most of them had a 2.3.
Any of the ones that I ever worked on had like the 1.8 because we couldn't do anything with them.
1.8?
It's like a 1.8 or a 2.0 Z-Tech, the Ford Focus engine.
Yeah, that's a 2.3 MZR.
No, this was the smaller one.
Oh.
And you have to have special tools to do anything with the front, like any of the to replace the serpentine belt because
Yeah. Oh, is it like a stretch to fit belt?
and
Oh,
like
God.
the crankshaft pulley is not
It's press
keyed.
fit.
It's press
Yep,
fit.
It's just
Yeah.
the worst idea
Yeah, it's
anyone's
so dumb.
ever had.
So like as
Guess
soon as
what
you
else
take
is
that
press
loose,
fit?
the timing chain is all spun.
The timing chain drive gear is also press fit.
Yeah,
Which
to
is-
the harmonic balancer is what I was saying. So if you take that harmonic balancer loose at all,
You're
you're boned.
screwed.
Totally boned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll leak oil like crazy. They're bad.
Every
The Mazda
time
5 is
a Mazda
terrible
Speed
car.
3 or
All right,
a
I'm just gonna
Focus
shut my mouth from now on.
or a Focus ST comes into the shop, everyone just goes, "Oh no!" Apparently, Mountune, CPE, and I forget the other company that did MZRs, but all of them stopped their engine build programs. None of them will build you a motor anymore.
Is that because of lack of parts, or
Possibly.
because they don't want to do it?
I think it's a bit of both.
I'm not surprised by that.
What about a Protege 5?
I like those a lot.
I
Yeah.
love those.
If they don't rust away,
I almost bought one like right before I got the Kia.
One of my favorite memories is I went out to a Mazda meet one time, and there was a guy there in a mostly stock but with decent tires automatic Protege 5, and he was keeping up with the dude in front on this cruise who was in a highly modified RX-8, and he was mobbing in this Protege 5, and it was fantastic.
I feel like that speaks more to the capabilities of the RX-8 than it does
RX-8s are garbage.
Yeah.
They're
Sorry,
so
Richard.
terrible.
But the Protege 5s are not without their own issues. But I think that that was the first car that Mazda really tried to break away from Ford with, because then the Mazda Speed Protege came out shortly afterwards.
Yep, that was only in sedan though, no wagon.
Yeah, right, yeah, but I really like the Protege 5.
It's a cool car for sure.
I like it a lot. They had an MP3 version, which was the
What?
futuristic one. So when the iPod came out in the early 2000s,
my
they were
God.
like, you can have an aux input in the MP3 version of the Mazda Protege 5.
Whoa.
It's the future.
Cowabunga, dude.
Cowabunga.
You have a whole model.
Cowabunga
You have
it is.
you have a whole edition of a vehicle just so you can use your Zune.
Yup. Hate on the Zune all you want.
Where
It
you
was a
at,
good
Vance?
piece of hardware.
It was great hardware, and it was terrible software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bad. Anyways,
I think that's an episode.
yeah, I'm in.
For sure. This episode has been
right.
brought to you by Steve Kielman, who states that he was drinking a Licking Hole Creek Nuclear Nugget Imperial Honey
good
IPA.
stuff.
Oh, good beer, Steve.
Thanks, Steve, for your contribution. We appreciate you. Thanks, Z, for your contribution. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
It's always a pleasure.
Do you want to plug your pluggables?
Do what?
What's
You
your
want to do some drugs?
Potables?
You want to let the fine folks know your Instagram handle so they can see pretty pictures of your truck?
Yeah. No, Instagram, at first and last name, so at Adam, ADAM, Sorondo, Sorondo. You can find me on Facebook, same thing, Adam Sorondo. Twitter, that.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pinterest, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have any good pictures or cool pictures of the truck up yet, but
should
once I
take
start
some.
doing a little bit more, I need to get it cleaned or clean it really well.
Well, we want one to post with this episode, so
Oh yeah,
Should-
I'll get you one.
get a picture.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I'm going to find one from Google.
yeah. Go down by the river and take a picture.
Corey?
C. Crehan at Instagram for pictures of good food and ripped pants. I'm still that one pair of shorts I was talking about last week is still holding on.
Oh, what
Still
a
holding
champ.
on. I know. We'll see what I can do.
We need to get you some Dickies, bro.
Some Duluth.
I'm Saavedro88 on Instagram, Free Candy Media on Instagram.
I'm on Instagram at The Daily Downshift. Yeah, beerandbackfire@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page too. And I think we have an Instagram as well.
Beer and
So-
Backfire on Instagram.
Yep.
Also,
you
follow
can-
Steve Kilman on Instagram. It's,
Follow Steve
I am understeer.
I am understeer on Instagram. Also, we just announced the fall cruise
Yep.
date, which I believe is October
16th.
16th.
October the weekend, I'm not available.
No.
Yeah,
Dude, it's so far away.
I know.
Okay. Well, October 16th is the
Or whatever that Saturday is.
Yeah, but it's mid-October Saturday. To find the event, go on the Japanese Classics of Virginia Car Club Facebook page.
Or just meet us at
Devil's Backbone.
Devil's Backbone.
Devil's Backbone Brewery
9
at
a.m.
9:30 a.m. on the 16th of October. Come roll through some mountain roads with us. That's all I got. Have a good night, everybody.
Love you.
He said, free candy.
Free candy.